All right. Welcome to episode 4 of Punch the Air podcast. I am Cole Lockley, and to my left, I got Luke. You already know it, the Buzzsaw Besney. To my right, I got Kyle Cardboard Barofi.
Yes.
All right, folks. All right, well, to give a little overview of what we're getting into today, we're going to do a little finals update. We have an interesting section. We're going to name players, and we're going to say if we believe they should be in the Hall of Fame or not. Beyond that, we have a small forward list. I'll rank my top 10 small forwards, and they'll critique me. A GOAT debate of LeBron versus Michael Jordan, the Deshaun Watson case, and a few funny ones to go over. But first things first, we'll kind of hop into the finals here. We got the Warriors tied it up last night, a 2-2 series now. Going back to San Fran, Game 5, knotted up. How y'all feel about this?
My original prediction was Warriors in 6. 6 sounds tough because that would be them winning 3 straight now. But I definitely like Warriors in 7. If you're gonna bet, you can still get Warriors in 7, like plus 190.
So you're on the Warriors train?
I'm still on the Warriors train. Steph obviously put the team on his back. He's probably gonna have to do that for probably 2 more games, and definitely 2 more games. So I'm thinking someone else gonna have to step up here soon. But yeah, I'm feeling the Warriors still. I just feel like the Celtics inexperienced. The Warriors, it's not their fault, but I think it might come back to bite them here.
I'm sticking to the Celtics. I think, like we said last podcast, y'all on the Warriors, I was on the Celtics. I think we saw through these 4 games, I think we've seen Boston's the better team. I think we've all been able to tell that they've executed better. It's just, one, they blew the last game, and they dominated the other 2 games for the most part. I think Boston, you got Game 6 at home. They're the best team on the road this entire playoffs. Only problem is Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's playing like ass, especially in the fourth quarter and pretty much throughout these playoffs. He is averaging, 7-something assists?
Yes.
His turnovers are through the roof, and he's shooting inefficient.
You've seen all that shit, too, about him saying, he's, not sure if he's the man and all that.
What?
Yeah.
Is he really saying that?
I heard that on the herd today. Tatum, kind of questioning his greatness in a sense.
What?
I don't like that.
Yeah. He questioned if he was the guy.
Yeah, the
guy's jerking off Kobe every second he gets. What do you
mean?
mean?
He thinks he's Kobe on paper.
Well, I know he always.
I don't think
shit.
deep down though. And I think his fucking tweet about Kobe was the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
I was not a fan about that.
I hate that
it's
shit.
Annoying.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Stop.
Dude, chill out.
You haven't won anything. Stop comparing yourself to Kobe fucking Bryant.
Did you see that picture that he would show up to practice and this is
the
same uniform that Kobe wore for his Celtics workout.
I hate that.
What are we doing here? Come on.
There were so many tweets, and it was this is the most annoying shit I've ever seen.
This is ridiculous, man.
I'm honestly I don't like Jason Tatum.
I've never liked Tatum. Y'all have known I've never liked Tatum. I've always said I think Jaylen Brown is completely underrated, and I think if the Celtics are going to win the series, Jaylen Brown's going to have to keep doing what he's doing and probably elevate. But he's done that so far.
Well, one thing too, we talked about last time the finals odds. I think JB now is at plus 600 for the finals odds, the current updated odds.
That is ridiculous.
What was he at before? Plus a grand or something like that?
Probably.
I mean, if Celtics win, I think he has a decent shot to win the.
I think he definitely. I think he wins MVP.
Tatum's played like shit.
I think the only thing is though is his Brown's putting up most of his stats in the first and second quarters, but it seems like second half he's not playing as big.
Yeah,
he played well last night.
Yeah, it's just with Tatum, it's just he's just not shooting well enough.
The only if Brown continues to play like he's doing, and Tatum continues to play
they might have no choice but to give it to him.
And the Celtics win. Well, they're going to have to. I mean, obviously, I think the media would rather give it to Tatum just to, push the narrative of him being an all-time great. But, anyone who's watched this series, you watch the entire Celtics, and you're like, Jaylen Brown's the best player on the team.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, I
also think Tatum is better.
I also think I really think something's going on with Tatum's shoulder because I feel like he will be playing better. I really think something's wrong with his shoulder.
Who cares?
Well,
I know who cares, but I know it's the finals. But if the shoulder's bothering you, the shoulder's bothering you.
Everyone's banged up.
I saw a report. I think it was after game 2 or 3 that he forgot to apply his Vagisil. So I think that may be what kind of shoulder it kind of links in there.
Klay Thompson probably needs to.
What do y'all think though about Draymond Green? I mean, obviously he could have got ejected last game or the game before.
Well, I hate what they do with him because as soon as he gets that one tech, they let him get away with everything.
Dude,
it's ridiculous.
But what's your game 1? He came out and said, after I get one tech, I know I can get away with more stuff. He literally went on in public and said that.
And the thing, too, is he knows that because in these finals, like, I feel like if you're a star player, it's going to be so hard to actually get ejected from a series because TV ratings are going to fucking plummet.
They don't want to have the connotation of them dictating the series like in 2016 when he got ejected.
No.
They don't want that.
Could you imagine, though, if he did get ejected and let's say they lose that game and the Warriors lose it? Think about how that would negate his legacy. I mean, their 2 finals losses, Draymond Green ejected. They ended up in finals losses.
I almost feel like he's kind of become the X factor for the Warriors because if he gives them anything offensively, that is huge for them.
He had 2 points last night.
I know. It's like if he gives them 10 points, like that's honestly massive.
I'm still sticking to my gun.
I know. I don't know if he's got 10 points.
Klay Thompson will go off in the next game or 2, and they will win that game.
Game 6, Klay.
I mean, he went off in kind of in game 3.
We talked about when we did like last podcast, we talked about Klay Thompson, and I was like, Klay Thompson has been ass.
Yeah.
He has 1 or 2 games a series.
He's been beyond inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I also think just rebounding has become a big thing too because, I mean, in game 3, the Celtics, I mean, Robert Williams completely just out-rebounded them, out-hustled them. They just big-boyed them.
Robert Williams has been a monster.
Yeah, and then that last game, Andrew Wiggins with those 16 rebounds.
Yeah.
It's almost come down to, like, hustle and just, like, truly who wants it more.
And it's crazy, too. You know, you see a fucking actually decent center who can play defense and cover some ground versus the Mavs series. They have no one that can get the paint. Looney's getting fucking 20 points, 15 boards. Now you get a center like Rob Williams in there.
That dude
and that's the
eraser.
thing. If you can shut down the Warriors in the paint, you know, and make them just shoot, it's hard to win 4 out of 7
this
just
is
shooting.
what the Celtics have done to them. They've literally made them like Curry was like LeBron on the Cavs. Like, the only way you're going to beat us is if Curry goes nuts.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in game 4.
He went nuclear last night.
And then, like, Klay's going to have to go off for one of these games.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I watched the second quarter of that game. Poole went nuts. Poole was awesome. He was hitting some crazy shots just off the dribble, off a screen, bombing threes, bombing great mid-range shots.
In game 4, game 2?
Game 4.
Gotcha.
This last game.
Yeah.
But, like, that's what I think we're seeing with this series so far is, like, the Celtics are the more complete team. They're the better team. They're better defensively. They're bigger. The only thing Golden State has is Steph Curry.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
And that's what it's going to come down to. They are the deeper team. Obviously, coming in on paper, you know, like we discussed, like it looked kind of evenly matched up because the Warriors are deep. They have a ton of talent. But obviously, we've seen so far in this series that Boston is the more well-rounded team.
Yeah. They are.
And so I totally agree. It's going to come down to Steph. And hey, if Steph's ever going to make his imprint as,
this is it.
You know, the best point guard of all time, it's right now. Yeah. It's right here. And I fucking hope to God he can do it. I'm still sticking with Warriors in 7.
Yeah.
And I would love but the thing is, it's like, can he do 43 and 10 again?
Well, dude, that's the interesting
2 more times? Because what if Klay doesn't show up, you know?
Yeah.
But, dude, that's the interesting thing. They're 2-2 now. Steph's averaging, 34.5 this series? What if Steph, let's say Warriors win 6 or 7. In 2 or 3 of those games, Steph Curry ends up dropping 2 40-pointers and a 35-pointer. You're talking about him. I mean, no one could even say he's not top 10 anymore. You're now talking about him top 5 all the time.
Yeah.
You're talking about him being better than Magic because the only argument against Magic, as good as he was, is Kareem. Like, Magic, you're awesome, but you're playing with the leading scorer all time ever.
Yeah.
Like
well,
Kareem,
that's where I think
is also one of the best.
That's where I think
ever.
KD kind of hurts Steph though. Those 2 years with KD, that does kind of hurt him.
Well, it doesn't hurt him because if KD's not there, then LeBron wins 2 more and Steph has 1 championship.
That's true,
and let me ask you
not-
this.
they
Let me
might
ask you
not
this.
win
I
those.
don't think this will be a thing, but let's say the Warriors lose in 7, but Steph Curry drops 35 a game, goes lights out from 3. He can't win Finals MVP, can he?
No.
No, I guess.
If LeBron couldn't do it in
No,
that
But,
1 year,
exactly.
but if that happens, it doesn't hurt his legacy.
it doesn't
Unless
hurt
you're
his
LeBron
legacy.
James, and that hurts your legacy. Because, it's LeBron.
Yeah.
But if you're Steph Curry, no, doesn't hurt your legacy.
No.
Everyone will praise him if that happens.
Yeah, well, especially assuming that no one else does anything.
This is kind of interesting. So I was listening to The Herd earlier today, and, he's always just shitting out of his ass. But he was talking about LeBron James, how, we've heard LeBron talk multiple times about his interest of joining up with Steph Curry on the Warriors. They have Moody, Kuminga, a lot of young pieces.
If he's serious about that.
I don't know if he's serious,
I
too.
don't think he's serious.
But
Here's what he does.
Yeah,
I
obviously,
think
if
it's
you'd wanna
something
play
that's
with a team,
kind
it'd
of
be the
interesting,
Warriors.
though.
Oh, my God.
Could you imagine
LeBron on the
if
That'd be
LeBron and
insane.
Steph were on the same team?
Good
I mean,
God.
you're talking about the team because, when we say LeBron, LeBron's not like you don't say his team, you say LeBron because he's so good that he's dominated an entire era on different teams. That's how
Literally.
great LeBron is.
Yeah.
But and then if you say who's dominated the 2010s, it's the Warriors and LeBron. You don't say the Cavs, you don't say the Heat, you say LeBron.
Yeah.
If you combined those, I mean, even though he's 37 years old, he's still the best passer in the game.
I mean, what he averaged
He's
30
still
last
probably
year.
a
I
top
mean,
6 player in the league. Like,
Do you think LeBron James is the best passer currently in the league?
yeah.
yeah,
I think
it
LeBron's
just,
been the best
his
passer in the
IQ
league
is just
since
so far and
2003.
away, like just above everybody else.
I
it
think
seems
LeBron
like.
James, you can say, is the best passer ever. I
Yeah.
think Magic Johnson. I mean, I think most people would probably say Magic Johnson. If I had to like look at it, I might say Magic Johnson. But you could definitely argue LeBron James is the best.
Do you think
passer.
LeBron James is still the best player in the league?
No.
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 I think Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis is just he's on a different level
I
right
think
now.
Giannis, Yeah.
But before we move on to the next one, just this stupid stat I saw. So the Celtics, when they score over 108 points, are 8-0 in the playoffs, and when they score under 108 points, they're 3-8. So
What?
yeah, so when the Celtics score over 108 points, they're 8-0 in these playoffs, and when they score under 108 points, they're
Well, it's 'cause
3-8.
their defense.
No, for sure, but it's just funny how it's like it seems like that 108 is that magic number.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
so-
it says their defense is so good.
Yeah, no, for
I mean,
sure.
like if you have that good a defense and you can score 110 or whatever 108,
Yeah.
you're gonna win at pretty much every game.
Yeah.
But the other stat that I think is even more telling about the Celtics,
Mhm.
their road record. What are they 9-2 on the road this postseason?
Something like that, yeah.
I mean, they have just dominated on the road.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't been great at home, they're still playing at the Garden. So like, regardless of who you're playing, you might not be as good at home. You're still the other team's still at a disadvantage.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, and like I'm like I said, I'm sticking with Warriors in 7, but it does feel like it just feels like in your gut Boston's gonna win this. From the last second half of the season, they've been the best team.
Warriors.
Hey, I am.
I thought you're rocking
Warriors
with the Warriors.
Don't
in 7.
sound like you. Sound like you're walking back.
Hell no. Hell
If you want to
no.
come to my
You
side,
self-handicapping right now?
No, I'm sticking with Golden
accepting
State.
We're accepting new recruits.
Fuck
Come
no.
on.
I don't want to
I'm
join your
just saying,
cult.
come on.
I don't want to join your leprechaun cult. I'm still going Warriors in 7, but I'm just saying it feels like they may win.
I think the
Through 4
Celtics
games,
have
who's
the
been
better team.
team.
I think the
Boston,
Celtics are the better team.
but it's
A
2-2.
better all-around
It's
team.
2-2
It's
still.
2-2 and the Warriors
It's
have
2-2.
Steph Curry.
It
That's
goes-
the only
it goes-
thing.
And Clay can get hot and take a game.
Clay can
That's
take
what I'm
a
saying.
game, but a game doesn't win a series.
Well, if
Now,
Klay takes
you have
one and Steph takes
Curry-
the other,
but
they
let's
win.
Let's not mix this up and say that Klay Thompson's the reason they're going to win the finals.
No, absolutely
That's
not.
absolutely
Absolutely not.
No one's saying that.
Clay
but-
needs to take a game. If Clay
but-
takes a game and Steph takes a game, they win.
Yeah, if Clay,
I mean,
Absolutely,
if
but
Clay,
Steph takes every
if
game.
Clay does, a
Yeah,
Clay
I mean,
game,
Steph's gone like
and-
34, 29, 43, and 34.
Let's-
I'm
yeah,
just-
if Clay-
if
fallen
Clay,
if
I'm
Clay
saying,
hits
yeah.
6-7 threes in a game, they're probably going to win it.
Maybe you can
would
also
think.
say that about Wiggins and Poole. That's the thing. It's like,
Yeah,
Clay,
so they-
Clay,
so
No,
so
but
they
they
had
can't get
Klay
hot like
Thompson.
Clay can get hot.
No, yeah. In Game 6, Clay is brewing. It's right around the
It
corner.
is.
It's coming up.
He played well in Game 3. His Game 3 was
No, he
good.
did.
They did lose that game, but it was
I
good.
mean, he had like 25 points
Yeah.
in the second and third quarters. Alone.
Wiggins has been the second best player for the Warriors this whole series.
Oh, yeah,
I
that-
don't
I
think
mean,
there's any doubt about that if you've watched the
that
full games.
rebounding performance was
What do you have,
incredible to
16?
watch. That's insane, man. Like that's awesome.
He's making his open shots. He's passing the ball. He's playing smart basketball, and he's playing great defense, and he's getting boards.
He's getting like a quiet like 16 to 20.
While Draymond's out there just blowing shit out of his ass and just averaging 2 points a game
Blowing
and
shit out
playing
of
like
his
dog
ass.
shit. Dude, I swear to God, I watched Draymond I've watched him like the whole series, but like when him and Robert Williams are matched up, it is like night and day.
Oh,
Robert
I don't
Williams
doubt it.
is so much better
Well, you
than
know-
him.
yeah.
And
you know,
when
if I'm-
Draymond tries to score, it's like a kid trying to score against a varsity basketball player. Like it's ridiculous.
Let me say this though. So if you're Boston, would you try to just early on get Draymond in foul trouble? Maybe put Grant Williams in. Maybe
Well,
get
kinda do that on his
maybe
own.
motivate him.
He's
Get him
been
a double
ejected.
tech.
He's going to get in foul trouble.
He's been
anyway.
ejected in two. I mean, not ejected, but he's fouled out in 2 of these 4 games,
Well,
right?
He has what, like 7, 8? They already have 19.
But if you're
fouls and
Boston, why?
17
If
points.
you're
Like, he's
if-
going to get fouled.
If you're the Celtics, why not put Grant Williams in and say, "Hey, get Draymond in foul trouble. You know he's going to play dirty. Take him the fuck out."
Well, the only reason
Take
is 'cause
him out.
Draymond takes himself out.
Yeah,
anyway.
you don't have to
Draymond
do anything.
already he already gets so many fouls.
Yeah,
that it's like
not like you have to like get him
you
to
don't
do
have
it.
to push that. Draymond's going to get his fouls.
But what if
Like,
you get him
he
out?
plays
What if you get him out in the 3rd instead of the 4th, though?
I think they're just gonna sit
I mean,
him
you
at that
honestly
point.
might
Because I
be
think we said
giving-
last time, like
okay.
Draymond is that team's heart.
You might be he has been. This series, he hasn't been. He's been their kryptonite. Honestly, if you were to get Draymond out of the game, the Warriors might play better. If the Warriors could run a lineup of Steph, Poole, Klay Thompson, Otto Porter, and Kevin Looney, you might be better.
You might.
With the way Draymond has been playing, I mean, what's he averaging these finals? Like 3 points a game?
Yeah.
I mean, at least game 4, he had like 8 assists, 9 boards. So that's like, he did well there. He still had a ton of fouls, and he scored 2 points and shot like 13% from the field.
Well, like offensively, when you have Draymond and Looney on the court, it's pretty much like 3-on-5.
Yeah.
Because like Looney's only good for like open buckets.
Looney's better at scoring than Draymond.
And Looney's pretty much useless if Robert Williams is in.
Oh yeah,
Dude, Robert Williams is
he's
a
awesome.
dog.
Awesome.
He's a dog.
The craziest thing is he's 6'8". And
I thought forever he was like 6'10", 6'11".
that guy play, you're like, that dude's like 7
He's
feet
bigger
tall.
than that.
Like,
He plays bigger than that.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, him
He's
and Bam,
awesome.
he's like Bam
he's
on
a dog.
defense.
No, I was telling Berger when we were coming back, I was like, the one player for the Mavericks would be Robert Williams.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine?
that'd be Bob Williams would be
he'd have
awesome.
16 points a game on just dunks.
Well, and that was the thing.
And he's like probably, arguably the best defensive
And that's
center
why
in
the
league.
Mavs got waxed against them, because Kevon Looney literally got fucking just easy ass
when you're
layups
playing
all day
Dwight
long.
Powell and Maxey, that's what
and if you have
happens.
Robert Williams on the Mavs, you know, he's not going to get those easy layups, and the Warriors aren't going to be able to penetrate and get wide open looks. Like a center like that against the Warriors changes the whole series.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, just his ability to pop out and guard the perimeter too is just it's insane.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so we got that wrapped up. So for the next section, we got a funny one here. So we are going to name players. We got about 20 of them, give or take, and we're going to say if we believe they should be inducted in the NBA Hall of Fame or not. So for this, I think this is pretty interesting, and I saw this one take that I think is pretty valid. So obviously back in the day, you know, like there's some shit players in the NBA Hall of Fame. The worst player found,
No doubt.
a guy
Yes,
named
No doubt.
More so
what's
than
his
any
name?
other sport.
Where'd he go? Bill Bradley. He played in the 70s. He was a New York.
Beast.
He was a
Double
New
B.
York Knick. He averaged 12 points and 3
Talking
rebounds.
about Big Bill.
Bill Bradley, the Knicks player back in
He's
the day.
a god.
He averaged 12 points and 3 rebounds.
Double
a game.
B.
Talking about
Bill.
Well, double B.
All right, my bad. But yeah. So I think
about B cups
I
here.
think for Hall of Fame, obviously it was a lot easier back in the day. You know, whenever we had this guy from, you know, some country coming in, setting the first for certain things, the first black player ever drafted. But all of those things have been done now. So I think it's a lot more strict now to get in the NBA Hall of Fame than it was back in the day.
I
is what
still
I'm
feel
saying.
like the NBA Hall of Fame is way easier to get in than NBA.
Oh,
or not NBA than
than-
NFL
than any other
MLB,
sport.
any
It
other
is.
sport.
It
Like-
is.
Like
It's
guys like
ridiculous.
even Sean Marion. Like Sean Marion has the like credentials, the stats to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no.
How many
it's
people
the
remember
easy,
Sean Marion?
They're
Like,
not going to.
It's
No,
it's the easiest sport to get inducted in the Hall of
Absolutely,
Fame, and I think it should be more clamped. But one thing I saw that I think is cool. So, this guy was saying he thinks that if it is impossible to tell the story of basketball without this player,
I like that.
then they belong in the Hall of Fame.
That's
and
why Eli Manning belongs in
and
the
I
Hall of
love
Fame.
that, and like that's my
You can't tell the
philosophy
story about the NFL
that
without
I'm gonna
Eli
go
Manning.
with for this. But yeah, first guy we'll kind of go over here is Paul George. Y'all think he should be in the Hall of Fame or no?
Absolutely.
I think Paul George is getting in. I mean, he's got great accolades here. What, 7-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 4-time
MVP
All-Defense.
candidate.
Yeah.
I mean, just good player. Just
honestly,
Hall of
I
Fame
mean, would
player.
anyone be surprised if the Clippers won the finals next year?
No
if
one
Kawhi's
would.
healthy and
No.
Paul George is healthy.
And that would just further solidify his Hall of Fame.
I think.
Yeah, I
absolutely.
totally agree. I think he should totally be in the Hall of Fame. Next up, Al Horford.
No, Hall of very good. I'm not putting him in.
See, I say no right now. Al Horford's a 5-time All-Star. He's yet to win a championship. But I think if he wins a championship this year,
I agree.
then there's a legitimate case.
Yes. Well, he has to
I-
win.
I
He's
think if Al
36.
wins-
He has to win.
Al
it.
He's
Horford-
been crucial in
He
these
has.
playoffs for them.
And-
He's had some
Yes.
big games, some clutch plays.
But because
Yes.
there's a lot of guys on this list, you know, that are like Al Horford's 5, 6-time All-Stars. And that's the thing with the Hall of Fame is if you get a chip on your resume,
Absolutely.
Huge.
it boosts it so much because that is a story of the NBA, you know?
Absolutely. Well, the other thing about Al Horford is remember those Hawks teams with Jeff Teague.
they were
They always
awesome.
made
Paul
runs.
They were
Millsap.
awesome.
Yeah.
You'd probably argue Al Horford was the best player on those
Oh, yeah.
teams. And they
Yes.
were the 1 seed for like 2-3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, 5-time All-Star.
Yeah.
Like if he I mean, like it's hard to say, but if he wins it this year, I don't think you can deny
I
it.
agree with that, but like if he doesn't win it, he's 36 years old. So like if he wins it, I think he's got a
Well, it's
much
not
better
like
shot
the
of getting in.
Celtics are going to get worse next year.
That's true. That's true.
No,
but
I think
very dependent
if
on the championship.
he has to get a chip. I think it's all dependent on a championship.
Yeah.
If he gets a chip, I think it's in the Hall of Fame. If he doesn't, I don't think he does. But next guy, Marc Gasol.
No, just wasn't good for long enough.
I agree. I say yes.
He's a Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
but
that's what I'm
one.
saying. I think Marc
He's a
Gasol.
3-time All-Star. Like
I
think
he a first team All NBA.
Yes. I think
once
Marc
or-
Gasol
once or
is a very
twice.
borderline player. But yeah, he's a 3-time All-Star. He won a chip. Yes, he won a chip with the Lakers, and he wasn't a very valuable piece.
I forgot
But I
about
think
that.
the
I didn't even
fact,
consider
I think
that.
the fact too that him and Pau Gasol are probably the best brother duo in the NBA ever.
Yeah.
He's him and Pau are the best players from Spain ever, and that goes a long way when you can represent your country. I think Marc Gasol should be in the NBA Hall of Fame.
The other thing is, it's not the NBA Hall of Fame; it's the basketball.
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
basketball Hall of
So,
Fame.
like,
Yes, but I'm trying
so
to take
that's
that
why-
out of account. Like,
No, but that's
that-
what they
but that-
count.
that-
I
that's-
know,
that-
obviously
they count for
us,
that,
like,
yes.
If I'm making a Hall of Fame, Marc Gasol or Al Horford, probably Paul George aren't making my Hall of Fame because
Yeah.
I'd want it to be more.
But you're
exclusive.
basing it off of
But
how
this
the
is NBA Hall of
yeah,
Fame.
you're basing it how the
And
NBA
that's the thing,
judges
it's not
players.
the NBA Hall of Fame.
And the
it's
NBA
basketball.
yeah,
Hall of
no,
Fame.
it's just like he wasn't good for long enough. Like I know he probably
He
will get
played
in.
for his country and led them to
Yeah.
2 gold medal
Yes,
rounds.
and that's how the
They
M-
lost.
I know.
and that's a
he won an
huge
NBA
and that's
title.
how that's a huge factor in how the
Absolutely.
NBA determines.
And he was the
through
best player
basketball.
on those good Grizzly teams for
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but whatever.
His peak didn't last long, but he was
it's so
great in his peak.
stupid.
Like you said, he won Defensive Player of the Year. He made an All
Three-time
NBA
All-Star.
team.
Like I know, I understand what he did
Yeah, no,
outside
no,
of the
but
NBA.
we're
I
talking
know.
about how the NBA judges
the
it. We're
NBA
not
Hall of
talking
Fame.
about our own theoretical
fine,
Hall
that's
of
fine,
Fame. We're
that's
saying
Talking
how
about
the
grit
how
and grind Memphis
how the
Grizzlies?
NBA
How you
judges
gonna tell
it.
the story about the NBA without the grit and grind Memphis Grizzlies? Huh?
You know, I don't know.
That's
Shane
right.
Battier, I don't know. You
Mike,
can't tell.
Tony Allen, Big Zebo down low.
Tony
Come
Allen.
on.
Next one, DeMar DeRozan. I don't think DeMar DeRozan should be in the Hall of Fame. My reason beyond that, he's a 5-time All-Star. He's never made an All-NBA team, first team. And I think a big reason, too, is, we saw with the Raptors, he got traded and then they won the championship. It was years of them clawing, trying to get there, and then they got rid of him, and then they won it with Kawhi.
But
I don't think
in
DeMar
his
should be in the
defense,
Hall of
that
Fame.
won't factor into his Hall of Fame. I
No.
agree with you. I don't think DeMar DeRozan will make
All
the
very
Hall of Fame.
good.
But I don't think that would especially factor into that. I
Yeah.
think you look at his stats, his All-Stars, his All-Pro,
I think it could
or
because
All-NBAs.
I think a big thing, how they look at it, like I said, is kind of like the story of your career. If you're looking at like a book.
I mean, he's a
Yeah.
5-time All-Star right now. I mean, if he gets, let's say, he's 32. Let's say he gets to.
He's only 32.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I
And
saw
we,
that too.
and we saw, we saw him this year too lead the Bulls to a 4 or 5 seed, whatever,
Yeah.
6 seed, and
I
he got smoked first round. I mean, he had
if-
good pieces around him. I don't think he's gonna get.
But
in
if
the
he
Hall
gets
of
to
Fame.
let's say 7, 8 All-Star appearances, then I mean maybe he's got a better case. I mean,
Yeah,
that
he-
helps. out
obviously
so
he
much.
If
would,
I had
yeah.
to predict now, I'd say no.
No,
I
I
don't
would
think
say
he
no.
has the playoff accolades to get
Yeah.
him.
Next one, Kyle Lowry.
Yes. I think the Raptors championship makes him
Yeah,
in.
he was the face
Yeah.
of the Raptors for a very long
Yep.
time, 6-time
I mean,
All-Star.
He's probably like
He brought Canada, not him, but he was a crucial piece that
Yeah.
brought the country of Canada their first ever
the other
championship in
thing-
the NBA.
think about like everyone that's played for Toronto, like Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady,
And never
Chris
brought the chip
Bosh, Kawhi. Like, who do you think that they like say Mr. Canada, Mr. Canada?
Kyle Lowry.
It's Lowry.
Yeah.
He brought them a championship. He also was great on Houston, which people forget
Yeah.
before he
Yeah.
went to the Raptors.
Yeah.
He was great on
And
them.
I agree. Yeah,
How many times was he an All-Star?
6 times.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, I agree. Like
Yes.
if you like if there's you say Toronto Raptors, who's one player that you'll remember, like he's top of the list right
Yeah,
there.
I think he makes
Bottom
it.
home of
I
chip.
No,
think
he
makes
he
the Hall of
does.
Fame.
It's close, but I think he gets in.
Yeah, Kevin Love.
Yes.
I say yes as well.
I don't think
he's,
that's even a debate.
He's a 5-time All-Star, Most Improved Player of the Year, 2 second-team All-NBAs. And I think, too, it's because I think that LeBron championship, when they came back 3-1,
I want to
is
say
such a
absolutely.
big part of the NBA and the story of the NBA.
Yes.
And he was obviously a crucial piece in that.
The other thing,
And he's a great player
the other
for his
thing
whole
people
career.
Forget about
Those
when he
Timberwolves
was with
years.
Minnesota.
He was
that
a
dude
dog.
Was averaging 26 and like
He was a
13.
dog. He was
Yeah,
just on a
he was
shit
a dog.
He
team.
was a monster on those teams.
Oh, yeah.
So like you have the stats from his early career. You
Yeah.
have the championship when he was still a major contributor to a team. I don't think that's close. I think Kevin Love gets in the Hall of Fame no matter what.
Yeah, I think he does.
If he could retire tomorrow, he gets in the Hall of Fame.
I
Yeah, I
want
agree.
to. I honestly want to say no. I just for me,
If it was my
I
Hall of Fame, I'd say no.
yes.
But
Okay,
we're
the
we're
NBA
ta-
Hall of Fame.
we're-
he's
no,
in.
we're talking if we think the NBA
Yes, I know.
will
If the
select
yes,
him
then
in the
he's
Hall
gonna
of
get
Fame.
in.
Yeah. All right, next one. I think this is pretty obvious. CJ McCollum. I think it's an easy no.
Dude, I can't believe he hasn't gotten into one All-Star.
He's never been one All-Star game. He's never been the best player on a good team. I think
No,
he's
that's a no.
I thought he would have had at least one All-Star.
Unless he
appearance.
gets
He's a good player.
traded to like the Lakers and they win a chip, or he gets traded.
Even
to,
at
like,
that
the
point-
No, he still doesn't.
Sixers.
Get
Even
it.
at
He's
that-
just a piece to a
even at that
championship team.
point, he would
has no accolades.
the only
dude.
way
He
he
has
could get in the
I
Hall
would
of
still
Fame
say
is he would
no.
have to win a few championships on a team.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he has
be a
no
major piece in
accolades.
it.
Like
That's
not
true.
one.
Yeah,
And it's all it's all based on
Absolutely,
accolades.
Right now, no. The only way is if he goes to a contender and wins a few chips. So I'd say no.
I think this one's pretty controversial. Andre Iguodala. I say yes. Iggy, I was shocked to look this up. He only made one All-Star game, but he's a part of arguably the best modern-day dynasty in the league. He was Finals MVP. He was known as the LeBron stopper in that year they won it. I think he's a great defender, one of the best defenders of all time. I think Iggy gets in the Hall of Fame.
That Finals MVP gets him in.
I think
Yeah.
anyone that wins a Finals
And if he doesn't have the Finals MVP,
I think
he doesn't get
any
in.
player that wins a Finals MVP should be in the Hall of Fame for the NBA Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Yes.
I don't think you can. There's only been 32 people that have ever won
Yeah.
a Finals MVP.
If he didn't have that MVP in the finals, he would not get in.
No,
But for
absolutely
that
not.
alone,
But if you win a Finals MVP, like you are like what people consider the MVP of a championship team, which he wasn't. Steph Curry is the best player on that team,
Yeah.
but he won MVP. If you win that MVP, you should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't think that's. I think for the NBA Hall of Fame, that's not a question.
I agree. I agree. Next one, I think this. I mean, I know you all agree this. Marcus Smart. I mean, I say no. He's
The
never made an
hometown kid?
The hometown kid from Flomo, Texas. He's never made an All-Star game. He's never won a chip. From the glass half full perspective, he could win a few chips with Tatum and Brown in here, and maybe make a case as like a Iguodala kind of guy if he blossoms late in his career and they go on a run. But as of right now, I think it's an obvious no.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, he's gonna have to really stack up the chips here.
I'm gonna say yes. One, obviously not now, but projecting his career.
So you think at the end of the day, Marcus Smart will be an NBA Hall of
Yes, I
Famer
do.
when his career's said
One,
and done?
he's the first guard to win Defensive Player of the Year since Gary Payton in the 90s. That's a major thing on his resume.
That
Tony
is
Allen
huge.
didn't do that. Chris Paul, Kobe, they didn't do that. He won a Defensive Player of the Year. He's still young, and he's going to be with this Celtics team for their next 5 years of this run that they're going to have. If Marcus Smart wins 2 championships, let's say, he already has 2 chips. At that point, he's like 34. You know Marcus Smart is going to be one of those guys that is the ring chaser, like hypothetically. He's going to go to those really good teams at the end of his career, and he's going to be part of those contending teams.
I mean,
he's
yeah,
already got-
and kind of touch back on it, like I said, back in the day, I thought it was a lot easier. But I mean, fucking Bill Bradley made it from winning 2 chips, being a just
I think he ends up
solid
getting in. The Defensive
contributor.
Player of the Year, I think, carries a lot of weight.
That
I think
carries a
if
ton
this-
of weight
If he can win
as a guard of the fact he
2
won that.
chips, even just 1 chip with the Celtics, and like most people say, the Celtics.
I don't think
have a
1
big
chip.
3.
I think he has to win multiple chips with him.
I've seen a lot of tweets like throughout these finals, like Celtics big 3 pops off. Marcus Smart's been great in these finals. Marcus Smart's a clutch player. He's a winning player.
Yeah.
So if he can win 1 or 2 chips with the Celtics, by the age of 34 for him, he is going to be playing for these contending teams, whoever the players are on those teams, those 4 or 5 teams every year that you look at, like, yeah, that's a team that can win. I don't think there's any reason to say Marcus Smart couldn't have 2 or 3 titles by the end of his career with that Defensive Player of the Year award. He might get another one, and a lot of first-team All-Pro or All-NBA first-team defense. I think he gets in.
Yeah. He's got to win a few chips, I think, for sure to have a case in there.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
I agree. The fact he won
But I
Defensive
think he
Player of the
will.
Year as a guard, that weighs extremely
Well,
heavily.
he's also already got 3 times. He's already a 3-time All Defense player. If he gets out of like 5 or 6 too, that's gonna
right.
help.
I mean,
up
he's gonna when
dramatically.
he retires, he's gonna be considered as one of the greatest defensive players of the 2000s.
probably a top, probably
at
one of
least
the
the 2010s.
probably a
and
top.
the
He might be like a
2020s.
top 5, top 10 defensive guard of all time. No question.
Oh, no
Yeah.
doubt. I think he's already top 5. with
and he's just a
Defensive Player
fan
of the Year.
favorite. Like, that guy gives it his fucking all night in and night
Absolutely.
out. I love
I'm
Marcus.
gonna say yes, based on me projecting the career I think he's gonna have because he's still young.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's a few of these guys. It's still time, can tell. But Drew Holiday, I don't think Drew Holiday makes it. He's a 1-time All-Star. He won a chip, but I guess he would kind of have to have a Marcus Smart effect, like you mentioned here. I mean, he's going to have to win another chip or 2 with Giannis and the Bucks to have a case to make the Hall of Fame. I think he's known as a very good player, but not a great player.
I would say no.
I'm saying no.
I would unless Milwaukee, he's on Milwaukee, and Milwaukee wins
Him,
Two
Giannis,
more.
and Middleton win
two of the
more.
next 4 chips, and he
Yeah.
ends up with 3 championships,
Yeah.
then I think you look at him like a Draymond Green because
Then
he
yeah.
is an animal
In
at
that
defense.
case.
You
Yes.
can't
And
take
this
that
this
from
thing
him.
for you, a lot of these guys too. It's like the optimistic outlook if they could
Yes.
get in.
I personally,
as of right now, though,
I
no.
don't think Milwaukee will win 2 of the next 4
Yeah.
chips, and by that time, Drew Holiday will be 36.
Yeah.
So like, I would say no, but he's really close.
Yes.
Like if he made the Hall of Fame, I don't think we'd be surprised.
Yeah. And then another one here. This one's interesting. Rudy Gobert. I think Rudy Gobert will get in the Hall of Fame. And I know he hasn't won a chip, but he's a 3-time All-Star, and he's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. Arguably, probably the second best player from France after Tony Parker. I think Rudy Gobert is going to be known as one of the best defensive players of all time and literally a defensive system as a one-unit player. I think he's going to get in the Hall of Fame one day.
He's
If
going
you
to
win
get in.
3 Defensive Player of the Year.
That's
awards,
huge.
I think you like. I don't know how you get left out of the
Yeah.
NBA Hall of
No,
Fame.
I mean, he's
Like,
gonna. I mean,
think
And we
based on his
saw we've
accolades-
seen it in this playoffs. You could have literally scraps as your perimeter defenders, and Rudy Gobert Rudy Gobert gets shit on so much, but he takes care of so many problems. If you have him on your defense is going to be at least above average.
Well, this is the fuck. This
By
is the
himself,
fuck thing
by
about
himself.
Rudy Gobert is that like everyone shits on him because he can't play perimeter defense. It's not that he can't play perimeter defense. If he was on a team that could play perimeter defense, which the Jazz absolutely cannot,
Yeah.
he would. I mean, like you'd be like, he's the most valuable player on their team.
Yeah.
Because anything that actually gets past that front line of defense,
he
He's
cleans
got
it
it.
up. He cleans
look
it
at
up.
Robert Williams. Imagine if Rudy Gobert swap plays
Oh
with
my
Robert Williams.
God.
We'd be talking about the
Oh
same
my
thing
God,
with
yeah.
Gobert. It's not like Robert Williams can shoot. Like
Yeah.
we're saying the same
If
thing.
Gobert was on the Celtics, there'd be a case. I think people right now would say he would win Finals MVP.
Yeah, because he'd probably average 12, 15, and 4 blocks.
Yeah.
Well, it's like you build like Rudy Gobert is like how you build a defense compared to like how you build an offense. Like you build
Yeah,
a
you
whole
build
defense.
around-
Yeah, you
around
build a
on
defense
defense,
around Rudy
absolutely.
Gobert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
mean-
for the Hall of Fame thing, if you win 3 Defensive Player of the Years, he's probably going to make another All-Star game or 2. How many first-team All Defenses does he have?
Well, I mean,
Probably
he's
like
a six-time All Defensive Player and a 4-time All NBA player.
Okay, so,
I mean,
yeah, the accolades by itself.
Yes,
give
get
him.
and
Hall
he
of
still
Fame.
has a lot more out there to chase
does.
and get. He's
Yeah.
not that old. Next one, Jaylen Brown. I mean, I think this is premature to discuss Jaylen Brown in this, but he only has 1 All-Star appearance, no chips right now. I think Jaylen Brown easily, by the end of his career, could be a Hall of Famer. He's going to probably add up a few more All-Star games, win a chip or 2. Right now, obviously, I think you say no, but I think he eventually, obviously, could be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think he's because the
he's
weird
just
thing
too
is-
young to tell right now.
I mean, I know like comparing him to Tatum, but it's like I feel like Tatum kind of like is who he is right now. Like he's gonna be like this for the rest of his career. I feel like.
If the Celtics win the
Yes.
championship, it's going to be because of Jaylen
Yeah.
Brown.
Yeah, but like Jaylen Brown you almost feel like he has a lot more room to grow. Like you almost feel he could become. We haven't seen the best of Jaylen Brown yet, and it's like I really think by the end of his career I think by the end of his career he's gonna get in.
I
Yeah.
do too.
But
I
I
think
think-
projecting the career he's going to have, he's probably going to be a 7, 8-time All-Star.
Yeah.
He's really good at defense, so he's probably going to get on a couple all defensive teams. He's probably going to get on a couple all NBA teams, and he's probably going to
win a
win
chip
1 or
or
2
two.
chips.
You almost feel like he's
So-
still like raw in a sense, though. It's like you feel like his dribbling could get better. He could become even a more potent offensive player.
I saw one thing. It was like
Yes.
Jaylen Brown might be the best player in the world who can't dribble.
Yes, literally. I mean, you watch him drive sometimes, just
Yeah.
like, what the hell
You
is he
watch
doing?
him try to like break someone down. You're like, oh, good Lord, what are you doing?
Next one, Pascal Siakam. I think it's an obvious no. He's only made 1 All-Star. He has a chip, but I mean, that chip was Kawhi Leonard and Lowry. You can make the case he wasn't even the second best player in that team. He's 29 now. I don't think he gets in the Hall of Fame.
God, he's 29.
28, 29.
Jesus, a definite no then.
Yeah, I
was gonna say like to be determined. I just didn't realize he was 29.
I don't think there's much
I
to say
think
there.
that's
And
closer.
I think Pascal, like you said with Tatum, I think he is what he is. I don't think he's getting much better.
I think saying that Pascal wasn't the second best player on those Raptor teams is disrespecting him. I think
That's
Pascal
true.
dropped 31 in that game 1 against the
But
Warriors.
a lot of people are going to take Lowry over Pascal in that.
I don't think
that
so.
run.
I think anyone who watched that series knew that Pascal was more valuable to that team than Lowry. They had Fred VanVleet off the bench who could come in and not do what Lowry does, but replicate it. Like Pascal, I don't think they win that championship without Pascal. Now, I don't know if he has the accolades, but he 1 has the ring. I think 2 he has a ring being probably the second best player on the team. I think he's only been 1 All-Star game.
He needs at least a few more.
So if he
there.
can get a few more All-Star games, which I think he can, he's still young. He's still the best player on his team, so his stats are going to continue to go up. But who else is going to score? For
He
him?
is like
so he's going to make a few more All-Star games.
He in a sense,
I don't think he's going to make.
He in a sense,
I'll
he is
go
a
out on a
young.
limb and say yes. I think Pascal will make.
He in a sense is a young 29 because like he didn't start playing basketball till he was like 16 or something.
Yeah, he was
like,
he was a late bloomer for the game.
But
next one, another premature guy, Zach LaVine.
No,
I think no,
I just don't see that.
I think we can move off
happening.
that one.
absolutely not.
Ben Simmons. It's so to be. I don't even think you can really. It's so to be determined.
He'd have to have a
right now,
career
obviously
arc
no,
change,
but
like,
again, I don't think there's much to say on that one.
He's young, but I feel like this Nets run is pretty much his last chance.
oh, absolutely.
Like I feel like if he screws this Nets run up, like I don't know what happens to him.
I mean, if the Nets win it,
but the counterpart to that is if you have Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and a fully committed Ben Simmons.
that's a dangerous.
There's no
team.
reason they couldn't win 2 of the next 3 championships.
That could
so
very easily happen.
if that happens,
I fucking
then
hate Ben
absolutely.
Simmons.
I hate Ben Simmons too.
I think he's such a pussy.
I think he's a wimp.
Yes,
I think he's a
sucks.
total wimp. Absolutely. But for Hall of Fame, like if that were to happen, he absolutely is in the Hall of Fame because he's uber talented, #1 pick in the draft,
Yes.
best player out of high school.
Yeah.
Like the thing with the NBA Hall of Fame is you can't just consider your NBA stuff. Like Carmelo Anthony, he will. I mean, I think Carmelo gets in the Hall of Fame regardless. But a big thing about Carmelo
That you're at
Anthony's career
Syracuse.
is at Syracuse. He was a freshman and he won the championship, and he led his team to a championship.
Yeah.
That's a huge
And
that's
that's
a huge
and they
feather in
like
his
you said,
cap.
it's the basketball Hall of Fame. That's
Right,
what they
it's the
judge it off
Basketball
of.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
not
if-
just what you do strictly in the NBA.
I'm gonna say no on Ben Simmons right now, but if the Nets were to win the
Yeah, and
championship next season,
It's
think
it's
you
so
switch that
I
to
mean
yes.
you do. It's so out in the air right now. We have no idea. We have no idea
He's
if this
so
guy's
young.
even gonna fucking play.
if I have to project, I'll say no.
Yeah,
But I could be we could be totally wrong.
yeah.
Yes.
This next one, I think Derrick Rose will make the Hall of Fame. I don't think you can tell the story of basketball without Derrick Rose. He was one of the youngest players ever to win the MVP, and he's one of the the craziest stories ever that
He's
this
a
league
transcendent
has
player,
seen. He's a
yes.
transcendent player, one of the most explosive players of all time, one of the most exciting players. I think Derrick Rose gets in. He's one of the few guys that say, "What if this happened?" And I think the NBA is going to respect that and put him in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, he was the youngest player ever to win an MVP. I mean,
Yeah.
he was that.
I don't think he gets in
that-
the Hall of Fame.
I think he does.
I
You-
think
I
in
don't
the
think-
NBA
I don't-
Hall of
I
Fame
don't-
he gets in. The Basketball Hall of
Why?
Fame. I'm sorry,
How many
he gets
All-Star
in.
games does he have?
He has 3.
He only has
Yeah,
3.
he only has
And
3.
he's not making any more. How many scoring titles does he have?
No, I wanted to.
But
I
can you
want to
many
say
championships
can
does
you
he have?
tell the
Doesn't
story
have-
of the MVP without Derrick Rose?
Yes, I can.
I think he was
I can
such
leave
an
Derrick Rose
iconic
out of the
player.
story of the NBA.
I don't think
that's
so.
a
I
problem.
think Derrick Rose was
I don't
such
think
an
you can leave it out
iconic
without Jerry
player.
West, Elgin Baylor.
I mean, dude,
Bill
whenever
Russell,
whenever he
like-
won MVP, like he took the world by storm.
It was awesome.
Yes.
And guess what happened in those finals or those playoffs? LeBron James and the Heat demolished them. I
'Cause
I
he
think
played
you can
LeBron.
tell the story of the NBA without Derrick Rose. I think granted, it was a great year. He was an awesome player before his injury. But
I
like,
think
he-
I
he
think
had
on the
such a-
yeah, I think on the
I don't
fact
think you can
alone
say
that
this
you,
guy had 3 years. He won 1 MVP, and in that MVP, he
Well,
only
also,
averaged
too, the-
25 and 7.
the
It's not
youngest
like he averaged
the
30 and
youngest
10.
player to ever win the MVP award.
But it's like he's one of the biggest like what ifs in NBA history.
Absolutely,
He's one
so
of the.
is Greg Oden.
He's also Derrick.
Okay, I mean,
Derrick
but Greg
Rose
Oden was just a high pick who didn't
So was
play.
Greg Hill.
Greg Oden.
Derrick
So
Rose
was Grant
was a
Hill.
3-time
Grant
All-Star,
Hill's in the
won
Hall of
MVP.
Fame.
Yeah, because Grant Hill salvaged his career as still an All-Star.
Yes,
Derrick Rose
he
did
did.
not.
And-
That's the
but, okay, but
difference.
Greg Oden also never did shit in the NBA.
I'm not saying
Derrick Rose
I'm
won
not,
an
I'm not comparing
MVP.
those straight. I'm just saying like people that you could say what if. Like
Yeah,
Greg
I mean-
Oden is a what if. If Greg Oden was healthy, he'd probably be Joel Embiid.
Yes, but I mean, Derrick Rose won an MVP. He was still like those 3
Yeah,
years
what,
with the Bulls,
22?
he was awesome, man.
So
like
3
he was
years,
incredible.
1 MVP.
I
and
think
getting
Derrick-
bounced in the second round gets you the Hall of
I
Fame.
I mean,
think-
I'm gonna go
I
back
think
to
Derrick
what we said in the
Rose-
Basketball Hall of Fame. He gets in my Hall of Fame. He doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
in the
go back to
basketball,
that.
I think
I
Derrick
don't
Rose.
think he gets in.
I think Derrick Rose is one of the most popular, iconic players
Oh,
we've ever
no
seen.
doubt. Absolutely. So is Jamal Crawford.
I don't. What?
Jamal Crawford, dude, his highlight video
Jamal
is
Crawford
awesome.
has fans.
He was not
everywhere.
on Derrick Rose's level.
No, he's
No,
not. But you
definitely
said
not.
fans, iconic players. Jamal Crawford's an iconic player. He's a street ball player who can dribble. Like
I
a
don't think
motherfucker.
ESPN ever captured
Oh,
Jamal
hell
Crawford
yeah,
on
they
the,
did.
the
You
level
ever
Derrick
watch
Rose
SportsCenter
did.
Top 10 plays.
He was always
Jamal
on there.
Crawford was on those all the time. No one is saying Jamal. I'm not comparing Derrick. Derrick Rose is a better player than Jamal Crawford. But to your point, like those iconic plays that they make, like yes, Derrick Rose had 3 awesome years. He won an MVP. He didn't do anything in the playoffs. He actually played worse in the playoffs. He's gone to 3.
He's also like 22 when that happened. I know it's not his fault, but like.
But that doesn't matter when it comes to Hall of Fame.
I know, and it's
You
like
can do it at 37 or 22.
Like I said, my Hall of Fame he's not in. Basketball Hall of Fame, especially with his career at Memphis too.
So you think
he's gonna get in.
Yeah, and I all
What
of
did they do?
this.
What did he do?
They were good in the tournament at Memphis. He was good.
How far did
And
they
I
go?
and I think
16?
Elite
all
Eight.
of this is based
least.
on how
They
the
won.
the basketball Hall of Fame, not like you said, not our
Yes.
Hall of Fame. I think it's in the NBA
But
Hall of
I
Fame.
think if you say Basketball Hall of Fame, the only career you're going to talk about with Derrick Rose is an NBA career.
And
I
they'll
don't
use that,
think you're going
and
to
they'll let him
contribute
get in.
anything else to it.
And
No,
they'll let
no.
him get in off that.
No, I don't think they're going to.
I
I don't
don't
think they're going to mention his college accolades or anything
No.
like that. But the fact he won it at 21, 22, iconic as hell. But yeah, next player, Kyrie Irving. I think Kyrie gets in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's arguably one of the most talented players we've ever seen. 7-time All-Star. The Cavs don't win that championship without Kyrie Irving. He had one of the most iconic shots that we've ever seen in the finals
Yeah.
against one of the best teams ever in that Warriors team. I think Kyrie Irving gets in the Hall
I
of
don't
Fame.
think
He's a
there's any
lock.
doubt that
No.
Kyrie Irving's a Hall of Famer.
He's a
I don't-
lock.
If you don't think he's a Hall of Famer, then
Yeah, then get out of
As
here.
much as I do
Like-
not like him personally,
Yeah, I don't-
He
yeah.
is a Hall of Famer.
He
I
might
mean,
have
He's
some
getting- he's-
stuff off the court,
but he's going to get in.
Pure basketball,
one of
he's
the
a Hall
best,
of Famer.
man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Next one, Carmelo Anthony. I think that's an obvious yes.
Absolutely.
I don't.
Yes.
Yeah, obvious yes.
There's no doubt.
Um,
One of the best, and never won a championship. for
Next
sure.
next
Best
one.
scorers
I think
ever.
this next one's pretty controversial. Blake Griffin. I think Blake Griffin does get in the Hall of Fame. He was a 6-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year, made 5 All-NBA teams, and he was one of the most polarizing players we've ever seen on that Lob City team. That Lob City team, I know they didn't do anything, but that was one of the most exciting teams that we've seen in the past 20 years. I think Blake Griffin gets in the Hall of Fame.
I think he does, as
Especially
well.
with on the Nets as well. He could easily win a chip. If he has that chip on there, I think he's a lock.
I mean that run that those Clippers teams went on. I mean, he was so good for 6-7
Arguably
years.
the most
You gotta
athletic player
remember,
we've
on
seen.
those
Yes.
Lob City Clippers teams, people actually said, "Who's the best player on those teams? Is it Chris Paul or Blake Griffin?"
Yeah, I mean,
Like people literally, like, because Blake Griffin was so polarized.
I mean, for his
he was this
that guy,
uber
oh my God, his
athletic guy
highlights.
that no one could stop.
Yes.
Like
No.
you get him in a pick and roll, you get him down on the block, it is over. He's gonna yam on you or literally jump so high he can throw it in the basket.
It's kind of
Who could do
did
that?
it
He would
multiple
jump
times.
so high, 5 feet from the basket, and just say, screw it, boom, and throw it in.
yeah.
Let me ask you this: who do you think's had a more defining great career, Blake Griffin or Derrick Rose?
Blake Griffin.
Blake Griffin. Derrick Rose is the
so
MVP, but
what you said about Blake Griffin when you said he's an iconic player, he did all this stuff. You said he was what, a 5-time All NBA,
5-time All NBA, 6-time All Star.
6-time All Star. If Derrick Rose was a 5-time All NBA, 6-time All Star, he's in the Hall of Fame. Blake Griffin's in the Hall of Fame because of those accolades.
And I think Derrick Rose is probably going to be the most argued player if he should be in the Hall of Fame or not.
But I think people are going to argue yes because they're fans. I don't think
Oh,
they're going
and
to
that-
argue straight
and
off
that's why-
accolades,
and that's
'cause
why I
his accolades
say-
do
No, his
not meet Hall
accolades
of
don't.
Fame.
Yeah, his accolades don't meet it.
But
No,
that's
they
the
help.
thing.
They
That's
definitely
how
help,
They
but-
judge it. They don't judge it off how great he was.
I mean, Chris
for a
Webber.
year
I
or
mean,
two.
Chris Webber got in the Hall of Fame. Just it seemed like based.
Chris
just-
Webber was awesome and took the Kings to like 1 or 2
He-
conference finals.
It was really good, but
He
like, I
averaged
mean,
24 and 11. Chris Webber was a stud,
he was a damn good player.
and he had like 7 All-Star appearances. He was great.
Well, I think they judge it too. You know, I think at that point when Derrick Rose won MVP, he was the face of the NBA.
no, LeBron was the face.
Okay,
And
outside
Kobe was
outside
second.
LeBron,
And
outside of
Dirk was
LeBron.
still there.
But when he won
KD,
MVP, who was the most talked about guy in the league?
LeBron James.
yeah,
Outside of LeBron, because
Kobe
LeBron's
Bryant.
yeah.
Like, I mean, like,
I'm gonna
you're
agree with that.
Kobe and LeBron are still in the league. Like, we're not
Yes.
going to move them out of the way for
Yeah.
Derrick
I
Rose.
just
Derrick Rose is great.
what he
but-
did at such a young age, I think, is just insane. Next one, I think this one's kind of controversial too. Lamarcus Aldridge. I say no to Lamarcus Aldridge, and I say no. He was a 7-time All-Star. He great player in the league, but he never had a peak that was, you know, that storytelling or that crazy. He never made a finals. He never led his team extremely deep in the playoffs. I don't think Lamarcus Aldridge gets in the Hall of Fame.
I agree. I think he's really close. He's a great player.
He's a
But you
teetering
don't-
guy. But
One, you don't have the playoff accolades, and you don't have the superstardom accolades. You have the star accolades.
yeah, I think he's one of
But you
those
don't
guys to
have
where he's
the-
punching the
the
door,
upper
but he's
echelon.
not gonna make his
Yes.
way through.
And you don't have playoff success.
Yeah,
So
I
agree.
think he's kind of on like that Al Horford, where it's like if he had a chip, he'd get
Yes,
in.
absolutely.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean,
he's Al Horford without the playoff success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next one, Andrew Wiggins. I mean, no.
No.
Yeah, we'll move
Can't
on.
happen.
No.
Last but
okay,
not
hang on. on Wiggins.
You can make a case. You can make a
unless
case.
the Warriors win the next 3 championships.
It's kind of a Marcus Smart argument.
Well, I also think
Wiggins
Wiggins
is old.
I also think Wiggins is off the Warriors
what,
after
and
his con.
he's not
as
that
good
much
as
older
defense.
than Smart.
He's like 27.
He's
Yeah,
not
what?
that old.
Smart's like
Actually,
26. Yeah, like a year or two apart.
I think the Celtics they have a bigger window. 2, I think even if the Warriors win this championship, no one's going to refer to Wiggins as the second best player on the team.
And I agree.
Even though he has been
Wiggins.
these finals and obviously this postseason.
Yeah,
They're still going to say it was Clay.
The
it was
only
Clay
way
instead.
Andrew Wiggins gets in the Hall of Fame, he's going to have to win multiple championships.
Yes.
That's
He'd
the
have to
only
win
way.
like 3.
I mean, his contract
'Cause he's
expires
not
after next year anyway, so it's like they're not going to re-sign him.
Hey, he did make the All-Star game.
That was
he was an all-star
Starter.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, ridiculous. And then last but not least, Chris Middleton. I say no, but again, he's another guy that, pick your poison. Like if he's made one All-Star game, he's won a chip, he's Giannis's Robin. If he can win a few more with Giannis, I think he definitely gets in. So he's kind of an up in the air guy right now.
I think he's gonna get in. I mean, 3-time All-Star, 1-time NBA champion. That he could obviously have 2 or 3 more championships on there, more All-Star appearances.
I agree.
I think he's gonna get in, especially because when they win, he's obviously the Robin there.
Do you think the Bucks are going to win another championship?
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
I think they could win.
Yeah.
Minimum 1 more.
I agree.
I think they could win as many as 4 more.
I think by the time Chris Middleton's career is said and done, he
Yep.
will get in the Hall of
I
Fame.
think
But as of right now,
he
no.
has the potential to be looked at as Scottie Pippen.
Yeah.
He really does.
Yes.
He has the potential to be looked at
Yeah,
as
from
that,
an optimistic point of view.
That like perfect Robin
Yeah.
to a Batman, because he's been that. Giannis, I think, is the best player in the league. You have Middleton, who's arguably one of the best number 2s. The guy still averages 23, 6, and 6.
I love
as a
he's
number 2.
he's a guy he'd be great on any team.
Well,
I love
and that's
Middleton.
the thing we've always said. I remember the last 4 years we've been talking about the Mavs, and it's been like, let's get Chris Middleton on the Mavs. How perfect would that be?
Oh,
Fit
Jesus.
right next to Luka, play great defense, score efficiently,
Yeah.
hit threes, mid range, down low, perfect.
All right, we'll wrap that up, but I'm gonna run back with it real quick. Get y'all's quick fires on these. Okay, y'all ready?
Yep.
All right. Do you think that this player will be in the Hall of Fame by the time their career is said and done? Paul George,
Yes,
Yes.
Al Horford,
yes,
Yes.
Marc Gasol,
yes,
Yes.
DeMar DeRozan,
no,
No.
Kyle Lowry,
yes,
Yes.
Kevin Love,
yes,
Yes.
CJ McCollum,
no,
No.
Andre Iguodala,
yes,
Yes.
Marcus Smart,
yes,
No.
Drew Holiday,
no,
No.
Rudy Gobert,
yes,
Yes.
Jaylen Brown,
yes,
Yes.
Pascal Siakam,
yes,
No.
Zach LaVine,
no,
No.
Ben Simmons,
no,
No.
D Rose,
no,
Yes.
Kyrie Irving,
yes,
Yes.
Carmelo Anthony,
yes,
Yes.
Blake Griffin,
yes,
Yes.
Lamarcus Aldridge,
no,
No.
Andrew Wiggins,
no,
Nope.
Chris Middleton.
yes.
Yep.
Cool. All right, well, yeah, that'll wrap up the Hall of Fame section right there. Next up, we got Bruin. I made a top 10 power ranking of the current NBA small forwards list. And we'll just
Take a break.
Yeah,
Let's
we'll
take a break. Take a break.
All right, so I got my top 10 small forwards in the NBA. And for my honorable mentions, I got Scotty Barnes, Michael Porter Jr., and Mike Bridges. The top 10 goes as follows. Number 10, Andrew Wiggins. Number 9, Miles Bridges. Number 8, Brandon Ingram. Number 7, Chris Middleton. Number 6, DeMar DeRozan. Number 5, Paul George. Number 4, Jimmy Butler. Number 3, Kevin Durant. Number 2, Kawhi Leonard. And number 1, LeBron James.
Who can you run through that one?
Yeah, one more time.
Yeah.
One more time.
All right.
Moving fast there.
Yeah.
Slow.
At 10, I got Wiggins. 9, I got Miles Bridges. 8, B.I. 7, Chris Middleton. 6, DeMar DeRozan. 5, PG. 4, Jimmy Butler. 3, KD. 2, Kawhi Leonard. And at number 1 spot, LeBron James.
You have
What do y'all think?
you have Kevin Durant. 3.
I have
You
Kevin Durant.
Kevin
at
Durant.
3.
Hold on.
You want to hear what?
I gotta get comfortable.
Yeah, get the mic
Hold
off.
on. I gotta get comfortable.
You want to hear?
Hold on.
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Fire
you have
away.
Andrew Wiggins. You have Miles Bridges
At
over
number 9.
Andrew Wiggins.
Yes, easily.
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 Tell me how that's easily.
I will tell you why right now.
Please do.
Miles Bridges, I looked this up. Miles Bridges is in the 99th percentile of most difficult matchups in the NBA. He was one of the best defenders in the NBA this season. He's a guy that you could throw on the Kawhi Leonards, the KDs. He may not stop him, but he's going to be your best bet.
33.
He's going to be one of your best bets at resistance. He also averaged 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, shot almost 50% from the field.
Okay. Miles Bridges was the second best player on his team. They were the 10 seed
Wiggins
and got bounced in the
and
first
Wiggins
playoff
is what,
game.
the 5th best player on his team?
Absolutely not. Right now, Wiggins is the second best player on a championship team.
Okay, but we're talking.
Look at the finals. Actually, no. Don't even consider the finals.
Well, I think
Look at the
I think
playoffs.
you're diving
Who's been
too.
the second best
I
player on
think
the
you're diving
Warriors?
too deep into recency bias.
Recency
yeah,
bias
in
is
four,
why we do
in
this
a,
top
in
10.
a four,
It's who's in the top 10.
it's a I'm doing is a power ranking of this season in the NBA, and right now,
This season in the NBA, Andrew Wiggins was an all-star.
yeah, and it's not fair to judge Bridges off that recency bias because Bridges didn't even go in the playoffs.
Yeah, because he wasn't good enough because he was the second option, and the Warriors
or because
got
he's on a
smashed.
or he's on a Hornets team that doesn't have near the talent and personnel as
They
the
have
Warriors.
LaMelo Ball, him.
LaMelo
they got
Ball's
Terry
20 years
Rozier,
old.
They got a lot of
You
young
cannot
pieces.
compare that to the
they
Warriors
got-
personnel.
No, I'm
the
not
Hornets.
saying. I'm not saying that.
You can't compare that.
Andrew Wiggins has been the second best player on this championship Warriors team throughout not the finals, the entire playoffs. And anyone who's watched these playoffs will tell you that.
I don't.
Now, if you
I don't
swap
care.
Miles
Okay,
Bridges,
when you think about it too, okay, let's break it down. Okay, when you have the Warriors, defensive teams are not saying, "Hey, we're looking to stop Andrew Wiggins." All the pressure's on
no one's
Steph.
saying stop Miles Bridges.
He's the second option. Outside of him and LaMelo and Terry Rozier off the bench, I don't think Gordon Hayward's
Hayward.
threatening. No, not at this point in his
Still
career.
averages 16,
Miles
17.
Bridges is the second option on that team.
No one's
What
losing
if, what,
sleep
what if
over
Andrew,
guarding Miles
What if
Bridges.
Andrew Wiggins was the second option on the Hornets? You think he
think
would do
he'd be-
better than Bridges?
I think he would.
Yes,
How much better would he do?
He'd be better.
somewhat better.
When you think about it, too, Andrew Wiggins gets wide open looks all day, and his three-point percentage was almost the exact same as Miles Bridges. Miles Bridges is the second option on a shit team outside of him and LaMelo.
That's
that
not
team's
an argument.
shit. He's 23.
That we're talking
Yeah,
about right
right
now.
now.
I don't care if
Right
he
now.
could be 38 or 23. We're talking about right now.
He's a better defender than Wiggins.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
I think
Miles
he is.
Bridges would have
And
done that well on
and-
Luka.
And Miles Bridges doesn't have any help. Look at the help Andrew Wiggins has behind him for
What,
defending.
Draymond Green's old ass?
He's
Kevon
got
Looney?
Draymond Green, Kuminga, Moody.
Kuminga
They
doesn't
have
play.
bodies. The Hornets
Kuminga
have
doesn't
no
play.
bodies. Miles Bridges plays fucking 38 minutes a night.
Who was the one
He is
player?
literally their second
Who-
most pressurized player.
Who was the one player this postseason that caused Luka problems?
I think fatigue.
That's not a player. Who was the player that caused Luka Doncic
His
the
own-
most problems?
His own team.
That's
Yeah,
it's
the
not a
player, the player.
Come on, say it.
Obviously,
Come on,
yeah,
I want to hear it. Say
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins.
But
If
you look
Miles
at Luka
Bridges
Doncic
switches-
that shows up to the season fat. He plays all season. Luka Doncic has no fucking
It's not
help.
about Luka. It's not about Luka.
Luka Doncic literally gets beat into the ground. I'm shocked we made it out of the Phoenix series. And by the time we went to
We're not
Staples
talking
Center
about
to
Luka.
play
That's not the point.
Well,
We're not talking
I'm gonna make
about
it the
Luka.
goddamn point.
That's
goddamn
not
it.
the point. The point.
Miles
is,
Bridges
no,
is
no,
better
no,
than
no, no,
Andrew
no, no.
Wiggins.
Don't backtrack.
Yes, he is.
Don't backtrack. The point is that Luka Doncic. Everyone said, "Oh, Royce O'Neal's going to stop him." Oh yeah. You know what they said before that? They said Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were going to stop him. He torched them. He torched Royce O'Neal and everyone on the Jazz. And then they said, "Oh yeah, Miles Bridges, Jay Crowder, DeAndre Ayton, they're going to stop him."
Michael.
Don't
Michael.
Only-
tell me you're saying Wiggins. What did Luka average point wise?
Still averaged amazing. But who caused him the most problems we've seen in the postseason?
One-on-one, Wiggins.
One-on-one Wiggins. No doubt.
When has he gone that deep in the postseason?
I don't give a flying fadoodle about that.
Well, you should because with
Why?
a guy like Luka, he
It's
literally
championship
is fat.
time. I don't care
It
how much
doesn't
fatigue
matter.
he has. He's
Luka
one of the
has one of
greatest
the
players
highest
in the
usage
league.
rates in the league, and they threw Wiggins at Luka, and then they threw Kuminga at Luka,
So did LeBron
and then they threw
James
this guy.
for
This guy.
15 seasons.
Luka's not LeBron.
Luka's pretty damn close.
He's not LeBron.
He's pretty damn close.
He's not LeBron. And I hope
And
Luka can get more
fatigue
condition.
never stopped LeBron James. Do not
Because
say
LeBron
fatigue.
James is a different athlete than Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic is I think he's the second best player in the league. There's one player that caused him problems, and that was Andrew Wiggins. To say that Miles Bridges is
How many
one, and
problems?
Wiggins is better
Okay,
offensively.
okay, but
Let not even go into defense.
I don't think he's better offensively.
Why?
They shot almost the exact same from three-point. Miles Bridges had a better field goal percentage.
Sure.
I think Miles
He's
Bridges.
on a young team.
I think Miles.
without
Okay.
people
Offensively,
without
offensively,
people
I think
holding him accountable.
offensively, I think they kind of have the same package. But Miles Bridges is more athletic than Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
You can't deny that. And then offensively, shooting,
So?
playmaking, they have the same bag.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they do
No,
not.
they don't.
When does Wiggins have to play make for the Warriors?
He averaged like 24 against the Mavs.
He averaged
He's been
17 for the
second be-
season.
Bro, he's been
Because
the
he's facing a
second best
Mavs team
player.
that is beat and worn out of their ass, and he's getting wide open fucking goddamn looks. Because he's on a he has a Dorian Finney-Smith and a Reggie Bullock that are playing 44 minutes a night for 3 goddamn straight series.
If he's getting wide open looks, why isn't Klay Thompson playing better? Why isn't Jordan?
Because
Poole
Klay
or Otto
Thompson was
Porter?
out for 2.5 years.
So who's better, Andrew Wiggins or Klay Thompson?
Klay Thompson.
Okay, so why isn't Klay Thompson playing as good as Andrew?
Because he's
Wiggins?
still recovering from his injury.
But he's better though, right? As of right now, he's better. That's what you just said.
He's a better player
Yes. So why isn't he playing as good as Wiggins?
because he's still recovering from his injury.
So he's not as good as player.
Right now.
There's an
Right
argument
now.
Right now. That's the
Overall, he's a
point.
better player, though.
So Miles Bridges would be the second best player on this Warriors team.
He could be, yeah. I think it could
That's
be.
bold.
I think it's so
If you
recency
believe
bias.
that,
I
I'll
think
give
it's
that
so
to you.
recency bias, and the fact that Andrew Wiggins is literally in the dream scenario for himself.
Sure.
And I don't think it's fair to compare that to Miles Bridges, who, yes, he has LaMelo Ball, but outside of LaMelo Ball, he's in a fucking shit dumpster fire. So
I think
we really,
Scotty Barnes
so,
is better than
and
Miles
that,
Bridges.
And that's why I said I know y'all have problems with this because that's bold to put Miles Bridges at 9. And that's why I said in the last pod, I think Miles Bridges is going to get the max too.
Do you
free
believe
agency.
he deserves the max?
No, I don't, but a team's going to give him the max. And I'm not saying what I
Do you
believe.
think
I'm
Wiggins-
saying what I
Wiggins
think
has the
NBA
max?
teams are going to do.
Wiggins has the max, and he's proving.
Well, because
he's earned
Wiggins
it.
has a pedigree. Wiggins got traded for. Wiggins was literally one of the best players to ever come out of the
We're
draft.
not talking about that. We're talking about who's the better player. Wiggins got a max contract, and he's actually proving he's deserved that this postseason. Miles Bridges is gonna get a max contract.
You think Wiggins is a max player?
No, but he's proving.
You
his
just said
contract.
he deserved a max. You just said he proved he
He
was a
deserved
max
it for the team he's on.
for the team he's on, and that's
Yes.
what I'm saying. What if Okay, you plug Andrew Wiggins on the Charlotte Hornets. Are they better than a playing team this year?
No, they're probably about the same.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
the same.
Same.
Sure.
And we're arguing 9 and
they're
10 on
the
the list
same.
here, so yeah, they're about the same.
They're the same.
Okay. Is Miles Bridges the second best player throughout the postseason on the Warriors?
He could be. We don't know though because he's never been there.
He's still playing with a great playmaker in LaMelo Ball. He's playing with a good backup point guard / starter in Terry Rozier. He's got Gordon Hayward. They got
Gordon
PJ
Hayward's
Washington.
washed.
He still averages 16 a game.
LaMelo
He's
Ball's
still a
great,
decent-
but he's fucking 20.
Gordon Hayward is still a good player. Let's not say Gordon Hayward should be out of the league. Gordon
Oh,
Hayward's
I'm not
a good
saying
player.
that.
No, I know, but
He's a
Gordon
good
Hayward
player.
is an above average player. Gordon Hayward could be on any team and average 16 points a game. He's a good player.
He's a good player.
PJ Washington, good player. The Hornets have some good players on that team, led by LaMelo Ball. Miles Bridges is the second option. They were the 10 seed and got smashed by the Hawks in the play-in.
Okay, well that goes back to my argument of if you think Wiggins is that much better, why would he would bump their 10-9 seed, right?
He might. You want to know why?
Why?
Because he'd have more opportunity. On the Warriors, he has the opportunity that he has because he's playing with Poole, Steph.
But
and
then you can make the argument, what if he has the opportunity, which we've seen him have the opportunity on his previous team. And what happened when he had that opportunity?
He was playing
when he
with
was a focal
Minnesota.
point.
And Minnesota
And on Cleveland.
sucks.
He was not good.
Who?
Wiggins.
Wiggins never played on Cleveland.
My bad. On Minnesota, or he got drafted by Cleveland, and then he traded. Yeah, traded.
Yes, for Kevin Love.
He was
Yes.
not that good on Minnesota. And it was because he was the 1 or 2 option on that team.
He was the number
and
one.
That's what I'm saying is now he is the 4th role. He can sit back,
He's the
make his
second role.
money. He can make his money, hit his threes, do his few dunks,
This
and play
postseason,
defense.
he is the number
Andrew
2
Wiggins
role.
has no pressure. This postseason, that's what I'm saying, recency bias.
Recency bias is why we
Recency
make our
bias.
top 10. Who's the best 10
No,
right
I'm
now?
I don't
all recency bias.
Well, it's all recency bias too. But I'm saying if Miles Bridges got the opportunity, he could be doing what Andrew Wiggins is doing for the Warriors right now. If not better.
Disagree, but I agree to disagree.
All right.
I agree to disagree.
Now let's talk about Kevin Durant being number
All right.
Let's move up the list
3.
here.
All right. Yeah, let's hear it.
You take it away. I'm sitting back here. Y'all got it.
I'm winded, man. Keep going.
Well,
let's hear
I mean,
it.
I'm not really
Come at
like
me.
I'm not gonna be mad about you putting Kawhi or LeBron over KD personally. I'm surprised you have DeRozan over Middleton. I'd take Middleton over DeRozan.
I have DeRozan over Middleton because of what he did this season, and everyone thought DeRozan was washed. He shot over 50% from the field. He was the leader of that Bulls team, and I don't think if you put Middleton on the Bulls, they achieve. And DeRozan for most of the year was in the MVP conversation.
That was like a 2-week stretch.
No, there was about a month stretch to where people were making the case for DeMar DeRozan to be the MVP.
I just like what Middleton brings you defensively. And
He
he
averaged
balled.
DeRozan averaged 28, 5, and 5.
I just like
They have players on that team. They still have Levine, Vucevic, Lonzo, Caruso, like Patrick Williams. They still have good players.
no, they did, and I just
Hold on, I can't hear your mic. You can't hear me? No.
I can't hear you.
Miles Bridges sucks. We gotta figure that out.
Burger!
Y'all went on.
Good job. Let's go.
Y'all went on for a minute about 9 and 10 on the list.
Good shit.
We can't hear Luke's mic when he's talking.
It's fucked up. Can you hear me?
No.
How long has that been on for?
Just happened.
Yeah, it just happened like a minute ago.
Did I turn it off?
Yeah.
Ah!
I
got too upset.
All right, let's resume.
Suck a dick, Burger.
Resume.
But yeah, no, I take Middleton over DeRozan because I like what Middleton brings me defensively, and I feel like he's a better number 2 than DeRozan is a 1.
Okay, I agree with you that I think Middleton is a more valuable piece on a team, but I think overall, DeRozan, obviously DeRozan is not a 1 that's going to win a championship as a 1, but I think
Neither's Chris Middleton.
No, I'm not saying that's what I'm saying. I like Middleton's role as a 2 better than DeRozan as a 1.
I like
That's why take
Middleton's
that.
fit on most teams better than DeRozan's fit. I just think DeMar is a better player.
You also have to remember
overall.
the Raptors were the 1 seed in the East for a long time with DeMar as the number 1.
I don't.
All right,
care.
I wanna
I'm
hear-
taking-
all
I'll
right.
take
Just saying,
Middleton.
they won 60 games with DeMar as the number 1.
They won 60 games. DeMar's number 1.
Yes, they did.
Let me hear why you think Kevin Durant is better than Kawhi and LeBron.
I think that Kevin Durant's the best small forward in the league. I think that I love LeBron. LeBron's my GOAT, no doubt. But I think Kevin Durant's, at this point in time, Kevin Durant's the best small forward in the league.
I disagree. Kevin Durant, is arguably the most talented offensive player we've ever seen in the NBA.
Sure.
Kevin Durant, though, versus where Kawhi and LeBron have, I don't think Kevin Durant has that dog in him. He just got swept by Boston. Kevin Durant's never won a championship as the number 1 on a team.
He was the number 1 on Golden State.
He had the best cast of all time.
No, trust me. I agree.
I think that's an outlier.
I agree.
Kawhi Leonard, and I
When
think
did
it's
Kawhi
also
Leonard win a championship as the number 1?
the Raptors.
Mm-hmm. Against the Warriors team that didn't have Klay Thompson or Kevin Durant.
Well, what if Kawhi Leonard stayed healthy these past 2 years in the playoffs? I think he may have one.
That's
Which
fair.
I know you agree
I'll
with.
give you that. I agree with that.
And
That's fair.
Kawhi Leonard I think Kawhi Leonard has killer mentality. I don't think Kevin Durant does. We see Kevin Durant getting butthurt and sad over fucking Joe Cruz 99 tweeting at him saying you're a baby. Kevin Durant is literally a fucking baby.
on
And
the
that's
court.
why I will take Kawhi Leonard over Kevin Durant any day of the week because Kawhi's a fucking dog.
I wouldn't because I know Kevin Durant's going to play. Regardless of what he's going to do on social media, Kevin Durant's going to play and give me 30 every night. Efficiently.
Now, what if we take injuries out of the play?
Well, if we take injuries out of the play, Derrick Rose is a 12-time All-NBA.
And
Kawhi versus Kevin Durant. If you're
and-
taking injuries
And
out, what do you pick?
Kawhi Leonard is arguably the best defensive player ever.
That's fair.
Yeah. Now,
Sure.
but yes,
We're talking about right now, though.
I think right now he's still arguably the best defensive player in the league. Healthy.
Fair. Healthy. We're talking about right now.
He's gonna come back healthy.
I think right now Kevin Durant's the best small forward in the league. I'd put LeBron 2 and Kawhi 3. Now, I don't have a problem with the top 3 because like I think those 3 are very interchangeable, and that's tier 1. I think after those 3, you drop to a tier 2.
And that was my thing. I told him this the other day. You know, the top 3 solidified kind of, and then I think 4 through 8 with Jimmy Butler. And obviously, I think Jimmy Butler's the top of the tier 2. But Jimmy Butler, Paul George, DeMar, Chris, and B.I., I think is the next tier.
I think Jimmy Butler and Paul George are a tier by themselves. And I
think the top 8 small forwards are solidified, and that's why after that I have Miles Bridges and Wiggins, Scotty Barnes, Porter, and Bridges. I think after 8 is when it's really pick of the litter with whatever's your preference there.
Yeah.
But one guy too that on here, Michael Porter. Obviously he only played like fucking 8 games this year.
If he's healthy.
If that guy, I may be shitting out of my pants right here, but that guy has an offensive bag like Kevin Durant. In his last,
did you just say?
In his last healthy season, he shot 54 from the field, 45% from 3. He has the same exact size as Kevin Durant. Michael Porter is an offensive microwave scorer energizer.
Off catch and shoot. Not off ISO. Not like Kevin Durant.
I think he can go off ISO.
No, the hell he cannot.
No, he can't.
No.
I think he can.
Absolutely not.
I think he can.
Do not compare Michael Porter.
Michael Porter, if you're investing if an NBA player was a stock, invest in Michael Porter right now because his stock is literally
I'm not investing in that.
His stock is literally on the floor right now, and I think he has obviously injuries are his number one thing. And I think if Michael Porter can stay healthy, he could be one of the best scorers in the league.
Healthy, Michael Porter averages what? 1 assist a game? He averages all his points off assists.
Yeah, he averaged 1 assist.
Yeah, he averages all his points off assists as well, playing with one of the best playmakers in the league. Michael Porter could not go get his own shot consistently. Michael Porter is great at catching a random shot or a random pass in the corner and jacking a 3 and making it. But you give Michael Porter the ball top of the key to go down and make a play or go get a bucket, he's not doing it.
I don't like that.
Let me ask you this:
Jamal Murray does that, or Jokic does that? There's a reason he's the third option on that team.
Do y'all think that Jimmy Butler belongs in the first tier of small forwards with LeBron, Kawhi, and KD?
No, he's a tick below. He's a tick below.
Why isn't he in that tier?
I could argue he's in that tier.
Yeah, obviously, playoff Jimmy is a different breed.
Yes, playoff Jimmy is, but
and that's what matters, right?
That is, but I think I just put him a tick below. I think he's very close, but I think he's just a tick below.
Yeah. All right, y'all got anything else for this?
No.
Yeah, Miles Bridges fucking blows.
You'll see. I know you don't like Miles, and I like Miles, so you'll see. Hold on, let me ask you: would you take Hellbridge over Miles Bridges?
Yes.
Why?
He fits on any team better.
He's the better player?
Michael Bridges.
Why is Michael Bridges better than Miles Bridges?
He's better at defense. He's a better shooter. And as a number 2 option on a crappy team, which is Miles Bridges.
Same thing with Wiggins. Michael Bridges on a great team, and he gets fucking easy looks all day long.
Sure, and he's really good at that. Miles Bridges is not.
Well, we haven't seen Miles Bridges do that.
Nor do
and
we
that's
know
why
if
I say
he's good
if
at
you,
that.
Well, we don't know, and that's why it's up for debate, and that's why it's questionable. Because if we put Miles Bridges on one of these good teams, who knows what this guy can be.
You full-heartedly believe Miles Bridges can be an extreme contributor on a championship team because that's what you're comparing.
How do you define extreme?
Wiggins and Mikal Bridges.
Oh yes. Yes,
okay.
I think Miles Bridges could do
top 3 players on their team.
I think Miles Bridges could go on the Warriors right now and fit into the role of Andrew Wiggins and perform just as good, if not better, than Andrew Wiggins.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
And that's why we talk about these things.
That's right.
So we're talking about Miles Bridges and Andrew.
All
Wiggins
right.
again.
So I'm gonna wrap this up here real quick. I'm gonna go through my top 10 one more time. So my top 10 small forwards in the NBA goes as follows. At number 10, I have Andrew Wiggins. Number 9, Miles Bridges.
Wow.
Number 8, Brandon Ingram. Number 7, Chris Middleton. Number 6, DeMar DeRozan. Number 5, Paul George. Number 4, Jimmy Butler. Number 3, Kevin Durant. Number 2, Kawhi Leonard. And number 1, LeBron James. And that'll wrap that up there. All right, well, that was another doozy. So next up, we have the current status of the Deshaun Watson case. This is really fucked up, honestly. This is so fucked up. The NFL's never seen it like this. So right now, Deshaun Watson's the subject of 24 civil suits that accuse him of coercive or lewd sexual behavior, with 2 that allege sexual assault. My take on this, I mean, the NFL has never seen anything like this. We kind of saw with the MLB Trevor Bauer's deal. He had fucking 3 women accused him of violent assaults, and Trevor Bauer suspended for 2 years. As far as NFL goes, we saw the Big Ben case a while ago where, a woman accused him of sexual assault in a nightclub. And then we saw Ridley this year get suspended for a year on NFL games for betting.
That's bullshit.
I think Watson will get suspended 1 year. I don't think it should be any more, any less. I think it's like obviously 24 suits. These women probably aren't lying about it at this point, unless it's like the greatest, fucking hoax of all time. But Deshaun Watson's also a fucking dumbass. Like, bro, you're making fucking millions and millions of dollars. Buy a goddamn escort. What are you doing going to massage parlors, bringing a fucking professional masseuse? What are you doing bringing a professional masseuse to your house and trying? Is it for the thrill? What is it for? I don't know.
Well,
I think Deshaun Watson's a fucking
a horny
idiot.
bastard after we saw that Mia Khalifa video.
Obviously, he's a horny bastard. But yeah, I think the NFL spends him probably 1 year.
This is my thing. If you're going to suspend Calvin Ridley for 1 year for placing a $1,500 bet, you know how much money that man has? For placing a $1,500 bet for an entire season, Deshaun Watson should have at least a 3-year suspension.
He's facing
he's not going to get that.
He hasn't
but
faced
if
any.
That's how you're going to run your
He hasn't
game,
faced any criminal charges.
Well,
there's a new report that he saw 66 masseuses.
He has yet to.
17 months. That's
there's no
one a
proof of
week.
them. And I believe in
New York Times.
I believe in.
New York Times.
I believe that you are guilty or you are innocent until proven guilty. And
He's been
want to
proven
believe
guilty. His lawyer came out and said a happy ending is not illegal.
there's no criminal charges pressed on him though.
I don't care.
As far as the grand jury goes, he's not facing any charges. At this point,
Deshaun Watson wasn't doing some
at this
mischief.
point, it's just what the NFL is going to do to him.
Yes, and if they want to suspend Calvin Ridley for an entire year for betting on a game he was not playing in for a $1,500 bet, Deshaun Watson should suspend it for at least 2 seasons.
I honestly think that's a bad argument, only because I think betting on a game, it's not obviously the amount and how much you bet and the fact that you bet on his team, whatever. I think it's the NFL saying, because if you are questioning if players are betting on games, you're almost questioning if the games are real, if they're fixed. If you have other players doing that, that's a bigger.
So that takes the cake over sexual assault?
No, absolutely not. I'm
Nothing's
just saying
proven,
from the NFL's perspective.
It's been proven. He's pled guilty.
I'm just saying from the NFL.
No, he hasn't. He has not pled guilty.
In civil court,
no, he says he's innocent.
I'm just saying.
What?
Yes, he said. You can look it up. He has claimed he's completely innocent.
I'm just saying from the NFL's perspective, in terms of, because if fans think the game's fixed at all, they're not going to watch. And that's why you have to cut down that shit as much as you do.
And we've already seen this shit with the NBA, how that one ref came out and said that some of the games were rigged and all that.
Yes.
I understand the Calvin Ridley thing.
Yes.
Because when you have players betting on an NFL game, obviously they're going to change their performance of how they would actually play.
Yeah.
And
And
I
think
the game though.
It doesn't matter. You can't.
Out.
Yeah, I know. I understand he's out. It all makes sense why he did it. But
I agree he should be suspended. But to suspend him for a year, suspend Deshaun Watson for 6 games of what he's being accused of, in which he has no real defense of, and his lawyer came out and said happy endings are not illegal.
I'm not
There's
saying
no reason he should be suspended.
I'm not saying what's worse. I'm not saying what's worse in the real world. Obviously, I just think from the NFL's perspective.
Yeah, and at this point, it's all the NFL. What the NFL is going to do.
I agree with Cole. I think Deshaun Watson should be suspended for a year, and then I think this is very similar in ways to Michael Vick. I think that both are. Yes, Michael Vick was worse. The fact that I think he'll get suspended.
Are we talking about what the NFL will suspend him, or
yes, the NFL
should be suspended?
What the NFL will do?
The NFL will.
Maybe a year tops.
I think it'll be a year. I think the NFL
what
kind of
he should be suspended for, I think, is different. But what he will be suspended for, yeah.
I think the
Year or
NFL.
two. Maybe 8. I bet
I-
he gets suspended for 10 games.
But
I feel like
there's
the
also
NFL
the
has
thing.
to save face.
I feel like the NFL nowadays too. We see the Me Too movement, all this shit. I think the NFL is clamping down so hard on people that commit criminal acts that we could see Deshaun get more than a year.
Well,
I don't think he should.
He
'cause
should.
I don't think
they're-
he should.
They're also trying to promote the game to female fans more too.
And
I think he should be suspended for minimum 2 seasons.
I think it'll be a year, and then because
And
he also the way
it's-
his contract was set up, he's only getting $1 million salary on his contract this year, so he's almost kind of like
And
expected this to happen.
It's such uncharted territory too because we haven't seen a case like this ever.
No.
In any sport ever. Like it's so and obviously, you see 24 civil suits, 66 women. Like unless they are like just pulling the greatest hoax of all time, then I don't know how the fuck like obviously he seems guilty of something, right? But I take the case of you are innocent until
Definitely.
proven guilty.
I'd say.
That's my case I take. I think the NFL though and Goodell, they're still going to clamp down on him. They're going to give him a major penalty. We've never seen a player. What was Vic's again?
He was
he was
just in prison. He didn't get suspended. He just
I
went to
think the
jail.
max we've seen is a year though.
Like Ray Rice, because Ray Rice
Yeah.
got suspended
Yeah,
indefinitely for that
For
deal.
the NFL at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
And
think
I
it's suspended
think
over
beating
the
a
year.
woman with video proof is much worse than getting a few tuggies.
Well, you brought up
but-
Bauer, and Bauer got suspended
but-
what,
Yeah.
a year or
Calvin
two.
and that's
Ridley-
why I think he gets spent longer because Bauer got fucked in the
He
Bauer
didn't
got the
get
Calvin
hammer.
Ridley just got suspended an entire season for placing a $1,500 bet. Is that equivalent to what Ray Rice did?
No,
No.
it's worse.
No,
Ridley's
it's
or
Oh no.
yeah,
My
no,
bad.
Rice is not as
No.
bad.
Ray
What's
Rice
worse?
is
What did
worse.
Calvin Ridley did or Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson.
So why shouldn't he be suspended for more than a year?
I'm not saying he
Because he hasn't
should
been proven
be.
on criminal charges.
He should be.
My thing too with it is like, I feel like this could have easily been a thing. Like, let's say, this guy's going around town in Houston, going to fucking Asian massage parlors. He's throwing them some money, getting tuggies. Like, and the next thing you know, these massage Asian women probably chit chat and shit. Obviously, I don't think this, but obviously it's such uncharted territory. Like, what if these people coheres and they were all, they saw a few of these women say this to fucking gain some money, and then a few more of them
Well, that's
tally on.
definitely the case with
You
a
think-
lot of them.
Yeah, and then they tally because it's all at the end of the day, everything in this life is about fucking money. You want money, especially when you're fucking jerking a dick for $30. You want as much fucking money as you can get. Okay, and you see a guy like Deshaun Watson who just signed a $230 million guaranteed contract.
That's lots of money
and
to spend.
That's lots of money.
That's a lot
and
of money.
They see these few
Woo!
Asian women fucking double down on their bets, and then they say, "Hey, she did it. I can say the same fucking thing. He came here on June 18th. I gave him a massage. He paid me fucking $100. I tugged his dick.
Sure,
Why
but
not?
That's all perspective. That's all word of mouth.
And
That's all.
but-
that
and
is
then
all
it- but-
predicting
but with this
someone's
case-
psyche and what someone's gonna do.
And I think with this
That's
case,
different.
there's no cold hard facts to this case at all.
well, they're
it's all
masseuses,
perspective.
So like they know. What
This
Well,
case-
the
this
lawyer
case
coming
isn't-
out, walking back like that. Don't love that.
yeah, the lawyer is the biggest.
But at the end of the
tell.
day, I will say I think Deshaun Watson's a fucking dumbass. Like if you're
he's a
if
piece of shit.
if
Yes.
if
He's a
you
complete piece of
I
shit.
think Deshaun Watson's a dumbass. If you are an NFL superstar with millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars like he has, why are you going to massage parlors? Why are you getting
'Cause he thinks he's-
professional
he thinks-
masseuses to come over? Buy a goddamn escort
Because
for $500
he
bucks
thinks he's
and
bigger
fuck the shit out of him.
because he thinks he's
Do that. Don't do this shit.
He thinks he's bigger than the normal human. He thinks he can get away with.
Well,
more.
I think also he's probably a guy that looks for the thrill of excitement, and he likes the.
I know.
He
I
like
think he thinks that
he
he's a
he
bigger
like he
person.
likes
I
the
think he
thrill
thinks
of
he's
oh
above
he's like
people,
oh this is
so I
wrong.
can get away with
He's like
this.
oh this is wrong. I shouldn't be doing it, and I think that's a big reason why he
No,
did it.
I think it's because he's Deshaun Watson. He was the quarterback of Clemson. He won a championship, and he's now one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And he thinks he's above most.
Oh yeah, but whenever
he
you,
can get
but
away
whenever
with
you're
this shit.
whenever
And I
you
think
are a
that's
human of
why it
that,
happened.
and that's why I'm saying he's a fucking dumbass because whenever you're a
He's
human,
he's an
whenever
absolute
you-
piece of shit.
yeah, he's a piece of shit and a dumb. Whenever you're a human on that caliber, you have to have guardrails up. You have to be smart. You're not just some fucking Joe Smith walking to fucking R&R massage off Kelly Boulevard. getting a fucking tuggy for $30 an hour and getting a hand job for $50. Okay, you're Deshaun fucking Watson, bro.
Did we just
Be
plug
s-
R&R
be
massage?
That's the
smarter.
thing. He's so egotistical that he's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I can
yeah.
get away with this
He's
shit.
yeah,
Fuck all you
he's
people.
egotistical
do
as
what
fuck.
I want to do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
totally.
Well, I
agree
mean,
with that.
like
Total
even
jackass.
now, even like based off the New York Times article, I mean, the Texans are now into this whole thing too. Apparently, the
Yeah,
Texans,
that's not good.
the Texans helped them get some or helped facilitate some of those massage not outings,
Yeah.
but services, but
Good lord,
not great.
good lord. It's all
Not
fucked.
great.
Not great.
Just
Um,
not great.
Great.
So yeah, I believe, just to wrap it up, let me hear what y'all think. I think Deshaun Watson, for all of this shit that's gone down, I think he's gonna get a year-long suspension. What do y'all think?
I think
A year.
year-long suspension, and then
Year.
he's back in the
I
league.
think he gets a year
A year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
from the NFL.
I'd be shocked to see a lifetime ban, but who
No,
the
that's
fuck?
not gonna
No,
who the
happen.
absolutely not.
Who the fuck knows?
He's worth too much money to the NFL. for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, well that'll wrap that one up. Deshaun Watson, you're a fucking piece of shit, dumbass. All right, last
no.
but not least, we got our best. Hey,
Cheers.
we got the funny section here now.
What do we have for our funny section?
What we got for this is if LeBron James at the age of 4 trained in any other sport, what sport would he excel in the most? I say UFC.
Oh, no
I mean,
doubt.
this guy is 6'8", 240 pounds.
6'9", 260.
I don't know where you're getting your numbers from, but I saw 6'8",
Yeah, that's what the
240.
NBA
More
calls
updated.
him. You know
Well,
what the
the
NBA calls
NBA
Kevin Durant? They call him 6'9".
Well, the
Ask any
well, the-
NBA player. Kevin Durant's
well,
7 feet tall.
and that's obviously that's false. I think
LeBron
if,
James is 6'9", 260.
I think the only comparable guy that you can compare to LeBron James in the UFC is arguably the greatest UFC fighter of all time, John Jones, who is 6'4", 230. And LeBron James is more athletic than John Jones.
bigger, stronger, faster, more quick.
Big, exactly. And they would be in the same weight class. And Joe Rogan said on one of his podcasts, I think if LeBron James trained UFC as a fucking kid, he would be a fucking killer. LeBron James would
wouldn't
fucking
lose.
kill. He would never lose. He would never fucking lose. That guy is literally arguably the most athletic specimen we've ever seen ever.
I believe he is the greatest athlete ever in sports.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
I'm on
I
board
don't
with
think,
that.
But the size of, like, the combination of size, speed, strength, athleticism,
All of
agility,
it. All of
he's
it.
the greatest athlete we've ever seen in our lives.
And
To say that, like, he wouldn't, if he fought UFC, he'd be 50-0. Who would beat him?
He would never. Yeah,
Unless
he
he's like
wouldn't lose.
43 years old fighting some, like, the best guy in the division.
Oh my god, could you imagine his fucking leg kicks, bro?
well, just
His
the
wingspan.
just the reach
Yeah,
he
that's
has.
what I'm saying, the
reach
wingspan.
advantage.
Because
like-
most of those guys in that division are 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah.
Motherfucker 6'9". You're not going to get close to him.
Yeah.
And think about like his physical appearance too. Like, you know, they have some of these guys like a John Jones is a little more slender, taller, but he's athletic, but just
Yes.
as maybe not as strong as like
Slender,
a
taller, but he's
Stipe.
6'4".
But LeBron
Not 6'9".
No, and that's the thing. LeBron is 6'8", but he would be just as strong as a Stipe or a
Right.
Cormier,
Well,
if
look
not
at Tyson,
stronger.
Look at Tyson Fury. I know Tyson Fury is boxing.
Yeah,
Tyson Fury is what, 6'9", 270?
yeah.
Oh, he's
And
more
he's-
than that. Yeah, about that.
And Tyson Fury's an athletic
6'9",
motherfucker,
240.
but
Like-
Tyson Fury is tubby.
Yes.
Well, he's a
LeBron
chunk
James is
monster.
chiseled.
He's a chunk monster.
Yeah.
Yes.
LeBron
Chunk
James
monster.
would be 6'9", 240, a fucking rock.
But
Oh my
for
He would
God.
destroy people.
for all those same physical attributes that y'all pointed out, that's why I think NFL, you put him out there as a wide receiver. I think he's a supersized Calvin Johnson.
Sure. This is my one point. NFL to UFC, where is he a bigger star?
Where's he a bigger star?
Okay, the thing about that.
Well,
so,
the NFL,
you know,
I
okay,
mean, the way they
20
promote the
Best case
NFL.
scenario,
Hold on.
he's
I
the
have
greatest
something
receiver
interesting.
ever. He's Jerry Rice
Hold on, hold
or
on.
you Conor McGregor.
Hold on. I have something though interesting. So listen to this.
In terms of
20
money making, in
Conor
terms of
McGregor.
money making,
Conor
but the
McGregor's
NFL's
bigger. Conor
But the
McGregor
NFL's
is
bigger.
Conor McGregor is the most polarizing athlete
Who's bigger by themselves?
at his peak.
Who's more dominant by themselves?
Who makes more money?
Who is better? Khabib or Jerry Rice?
In
Dominance.
In terms of dominance,
It's hard to
Dominance.
compare because it's such a
Who's
different
better?
It's
sport.
totally different.
But no,
no,
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you
Who's
this.
more dominant at their sport? Jerry Rice or Khabib?
Khabib.
it would be Khabib.
Khabib is.
Easy.
But no, okay, and that's the thing. Let me ask you all this, okay? Because obviously 20 years ago when LeBron James was coming out of high school and shit, Fighting, the UFC was just getting started. It wasn't a thing. And the UFC has been on the fucking most upward trajectory that we've seen. And fighting is becoming more popular than ever. I mean, it's in our fucking blood and our DNA, bro.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, we have these Spartans fighting to the death. Like people want to see people kick the shit out of each other. If LeBron James trained UFC as a 4-year-old kid up until he was 18 and then fought in that career, he would be the most polarizing athlete of all
He'd
time.
be the greatest fighter of all time.
Yes, easily the greatest fighter.
Muhammad Ali, get out of the
He'd-
way.
yeah, he-
Mike Tyson, get out of the way.
And he
Floyd Mayweather, get out of the way.
I don't know if I'd say I think he'd make more money doing that than he has in the NBA.
yeah,
We've
easy.
seen what McGregor's made, and
Easy.
LeBron's a different
But he'd
tier
be more
athletically than
dominant
McGregor.
than anyone. I think LeBron James, if he fought UFC, would be the most dominant athlete ever.
He would be
across every
that would
sport.
that would be the biggest pay-per-view of all time if LeBron James was a UFC fighter.
But the only thing
Yeah.
about that is LeBron James wouldn't have the following that he had. Like when he came into the NBA, like the following about
No,
LeBron
and that's
James.
and
I
that's
mean, he
what
was
I'm
on
saying. And
Sports
that's what I'm
Illustrated
saying.
cover
And
And that's what I'm
14.
saying. It's a timeline thing too.
Yes.
Because nowadays, if we saw a guy that was LeBron's like athletic and
But the other
size,
thing-
it's different. Because UFC started
Right.
20 years ago.
But fighting is all about shit talking and creating rivalries. LeBron's not like that. LeBron's never been a guy to call someone
he'd probably gain that.
out. He
edge,
might
though.
adapt to that. Sure.
Let me ask y'all this though. Do y'all think nowadays, since the UFC is such on a big platform and we see people fighting all the time, do you think we're going to see more of these supreme athletes maybe pick fighting versus, let's say, basketball or football or soccer, whatever the fuck?
Possibly.
I'd be shocked because Dana White still doesn't give his fight. That's why John Jones hasn't fought in so long, is because he doesn't feel like he's getting paid as much as he should. And Dana White doesn't give these fighters as much money as they probably should
He
be
doesn't,
getting.
but the upside of it's tremendous whenever
Yes,
you
but I mean,
are
you look
a
at these
McGregor.
contracts. You look at these contracts in the NFL and the NBA. Like, I mean, you look at all the guaranteed. They would earn more money
Yeah.
in the NBA and NFL.
Oh my god, I think LeBron though, yeah, like you said, as a receiver, I don't
He'd
even.
be the greatest receiver.
I don't know how you would stop LeBron James in the
6'9",
red zone.
250, runs a 4.4.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you're on the
Be a
fucking,
supersized Calvin Johnson.
if you're an NFL team on the 10
What
yard,
quarter is going to press him?
if
What quarter is going to guard him?
if you are,
Not even press him.
do you think that there's, let's say LeBron James prime athletically, is there any cornerback ever, if a team's on the 10-yard line, that could stop LeBron James on a fade to the end zone?
There's
Deion
no way.
Sanders,
And that's the
Deion
thing,
Sanders
to
would
where
get
this guy is so fucking
he would
crazy
get stiff arm
athletically.
4 feet deep in the turf.
God, like
guarding
dude,
LeBron James. at
fucking
receiver.
wild.
You gonna
This-
press him?
this
I
guy-
mean, with that reach,
Yeah.
This guy-
what are you gonna do? You gonna press him?
Stiff
LeBron
arm
James,
Deion.
LeBron James was literally made in a fucking lab, bro.
He's
Like,
the greatest athlete to ever be created across any sport.
Yes,
Yeah,
I don't
without a
think-
doubt.
Like if you actually look at just strength, size, speed, agility, there's no one that compares.
no one.
Yeah, nobody,
No.
nobody.
Cole Calhoun.
Ooh, that's tough. That's
Joey
tough.
Gallup.
All right. And then, yeah, so that wraps up the LeBron debate. Obviously, he'd be GOAT at any sport. But, all right, Kyle's got some answer to internet questions for us. Kyle, let it roll, man.
All right. Would you rather fart popcorn or sneeze butter?
Would I rather fart popcorn or sneeze butter? I'd definitely rather fart popcorn, bro.
Fart popcorn.
You kidding me?
I fart less than I
Yeah, I
sneeze.
fart all the time, bro. If I could literally just like fart and then get free popcorn, that'd be lit as hell.
I can't eat popcorn, but I fart less than I
Imagine
sneeze, so-
imagine going to the movies if you could fart popcorn. I mean, you'd run AMC out of
bro,
business.
You could run a little small business.
Talk about being an entrepreneur.
You could sit in front of the line just like, hey, hang on, guys. Oh, there you go.
Or what's the popcorn count per fart too? That could,
Yeah, I mean, I
good
think it's like any fart. Like the more you fart, the more popcorn you get.
but like how many
per fart,
how
though?
how many popcorn like crisp are you getting
I
per
need a
fart?
percentage. What are we shooting? 50%,
Well, I mean, I don't know, but there's-
40%,
I mean-
Are we getting like
30%?
20 popcorns per fart or what?
I mean, it just depends because not every fart is worth 20 popcorns.
I don't need to
think we
sneeze.
know
I don't.
that.
Yeah,
So
because I don't.
Good fart's worth 20 bucks.
A
Yeah,
good
so-
fart's 20.
Yeah, that's easy because I don't need to sneeze butter. I don't. But butter's butter. Like you don't use butter to cook
can't
like
eat butter,
certain
so
shit.
fuck butter.
Yeah, this guy can't even eat fucking butter. So
All right, next. If you could pick one celebrity to have your back in a bar fight, who would you pick?
Tyson Fury, no doubt in my mind. If you roll up to a bar
How
fight,
about no non-athlete, like non-professional sports, just celebrity.
so any
straight up.
non-athlete celebrity to have
Yes.
my back in a
Okay,
bar fight.
Nagano, other than that, but Nagano before that.
Yes,
Top.
Nagano before
I
that.
mean, I guess
Okay.
non-athlete.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson, John Cena.
He's a WWE.
I mean, come on. What are we doing here?
It's real.
He's still a giant, jacked man.
He's more of an actor.
I mean, Tom Cruise.
TC?
Tom Cruise is a shrimp dick.
We're
If
going
you've seen
TC?
Tom Cruise in his movies, like he said earlier, the stunts he can do. If you have Tom Cruise in a bar fight, some motherfucker comes up to you. He's like, look at this 5'7" little shrimp dick motherfucker. And then Tom Cruise does Krav Maga, and he
Give
puts
me
that
Adam
kid
Sandler.
in a fucking
Who's
guillotine.
gonna fight Adam Sandler?
David Spade, no
Give
doubt
me
in my
Adam
mind.
Sandler.
Oh,
If
they-
I'm
they
hanging
would
out
both
with
get their
Adam
asses
Sandler,
kicked.
No one's gonna fight me. If I'm chilling with Adam Sandler, I'll be like, hey, you got problems?
But no, it's
Yeah, I'm
if
hanging
you-
out with
it's-
Adam
I got the
Sandler.
Sandman.
It's not like if they fuck with you or not.
Oh,
It's if you get in a
Keanu
fight.
Reeves?
Yeah.
John Wick? Come on. Fucking John Wick? That guy's a fucking badass.
Jon Snow over John Wick.
Jon Snow without a sword, though.
Give me,
Jon Snow
you know
beat
what?
the living shit
If
out
I
of
could have-
Ramsey Bolton with his fucking fists.
You know what?
He
if
had a
I
shield,
could have,
he had a shield.
If I could have any celebrity back my
No, he punched
back
the
in a
shit
bar
out of him without his
fight,
shield. He dropped his
Give
shield.
me-
He punched him in the
He would've been
face
dead if it
like
wasn't for the
15
shield.
times.
if I could have any celebrity back my back in a bar fight, give me fucking Charlie Sheen. The amount of cocaine that guy's gonna be on, that guy will just look at him right in the eyes, and their eyes will probably
Give me
fucking
Vin
roll in the
Diesel.
back of their head.
That guy can
Actually,
take
yeah.
That guy can take
Yeah.
a ton of metal to the dome.
If
and
you're
just
Yeah.
if you're
get
in
off.
if you're in his family, he's not backing down for fucking
Oh,
anybody.
yeah.
That's right.
And if you're going to a bar with Vin Diesel getting a few beers, you're pretty much in his family. At
Oh,
that
you get
point.
Vin Diesel a couple Modelo's in him? Are you fucking
Oh my
kidding me?
God.
It's him versus
You
the
get
fucking
Vin
world.
Diesel a few cervezas. You're his family.
No
Don't
doubt.
matter who you are.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if you're black, white, purple. Doesn't matter. You're Vin Diesel's family.
All right, let's see here. Would you rather have one song stuck in your head for the rest of your life or never be able to hear music again?
Oh God.
Never be able to hear music again.
Yeah.
If I had one song
yeah.
stuck in the head for the rest of my
Never
life,
hear music again. That'd be tough.
your life would just be a loop of a 3 or 4 minute song. I don't know how you would be
You're
able to get
tripping
through anything.
balls for life.
I love
That'd be
music.
terrible.
I love music just as much as the next guy. But if I had fucking Airplanes by B.O.B. playing in my head for the rest of my life, I don't think my life would last that long. Because I'd probably kill myself.
Yeah, probably.
Jesus.
Honestly, I just be able to listen to music. Everyone in the car just like fucking headbanging the whole time. Be like, yeah, let's go.
Everyone's
This shit's awesome.
everyone's bumping that new Travis Scott, and you're just like airplanes, and the night's gonna fall.
Oh Jesus.
Start crying like shooting stars.
I mean, like it really doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't matter.
Just a
Like
wish right now.
it really
Just
does,
shoot me in the face.
it really doesn't matter what song you pick either. Like you're gonna hate it. Like it doesn't matter
it
what
doesn't-
song you pick.
It could be the
Like,
greatest song in the world.
after
bro.
a day, you're gonna hate
Yeah,
it.
it could literally be like when
gonna go
people back in the day heard
You
Elvis
literally-
I mean,
Presley.
if you have the
Yeah, it doesn't
same
matter.
song, if you have the same song,
You're
just
gonna
keep
be in a
going.
mental asylum after a
Yeah,
fucking
you're gonna
month.
Go fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Probably after a day. Like it, I don't.
Yeah.
What the hell
Okay.
you looking at, huh? I am talking into my mic, huh?
Okay.
It's over here. It's here. It's here.
All right.
He's there.
All right. Next.
Where? He's every
next
fucking
in,
where.
All right. Last question here. How long would it take you to eat a whole grocery store?
Oh God.
For you, a dairy-free grocery store.
How long would it take me to a full grocery store?
I don't know.
I mean, if
A
we're,
year? 6 months?
I would think.
Wait, is
the
that all
human
I'm- is that
stomach
all
can
I'm
expand
living on?
pretty far.
Yeah. No. This is.
This is
yeah,
a bad
all you're
question
living-
for me because half.
Yeah, go
grocery
do. We can't
stores-
end on that one. Go to another one.
Yeah,
All
half
right,
grocery
let's
stores. I
see.
can't even.
I
do it,
don't
so.
even know how to answer that.
All right. Would
Yeah,
you
that-
rather all of humanity be able to breathe underwater, fly, or be able to communicate with aliens?
Fly. Hey,
I wouldn't want everyone to be. Wait, is it everyone can communicate with aliens besides me?
Hey, you wanna come on?
Or can I communicate with
it
aliens
doesn't
too?
specify.
No, if
Hi.
I couldn't
Hello, my
if
name
I
is
couldn't
Mackenzie
communicate
Connell.
with aliens,
I think sports are absolutely amazing. I support this podcast.
Thank you, Mackenzie. We appreciate your contribution.
all right, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
How y'all doing?